Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast where it pays to have a huge kayfabe dick. It is Lost in the Midcard. We are just a little over a week from WrestleMania. And, oh my God, listening to this show, we're 8 days out from NXT TakeOver Dallas. Exciting time of the year. I complained that there was no news to talk about during WrestleMania season. Well, the industry made up for it this week. We've got a lot to cover. But first, thank you to SpiderDuck.net for being our host and enabling us to be on iTunes. You can subscribe to us on there by searching for Lost in the Midcard, and that's all you got to do. Simple as that. We're also on YouTube, and you can subscribe to us there as well, and the links to both are on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Lost in the Midcard. We're also on Twitter. And you can follow us on Twitter at LITMC Podcast. And as always, my co-host of this show, I am on the Twitter, Jeremy Bennett at JB Huskers. He is on the Twitter at Raw F Showtime, Mr. Matt Black. Matt, how's it going this evening?
It's going, man. We're in crunch time now.
No shit.
You know, WrestleMania is right around the corner, and ratings are falling every week, and WWE has some splaining to do.
Tom Phillips reiterated with us tonight on NXT that the fact that, oh my God, it's already next Friday for TakeOver. So as you listen to this show, I'll be on the road a week from the day you listen to the show on Thursday. It's exciting stuff. I'm going to stay the night in Oklahoma City, and then drive from Oklahoma City to Dallas on Friday morning, get settled in, and then head to Access and NXT on Friday. So that's pretty cool. And trying to talk Matt into switching some plans and joining me for ROH so we can chant "Shut the fuck up" to BJ Whitmer.
Well, you know, that always sounds like a good time.
I that's all I had to do to bribe him, so hopefully those plans work out. And he'll be able to join me for my first ever Ring of Honor show, which will be the television taping just after Supercard of Honor, which is shaping up to be a good fight in itself. Ring of Honor itself has been picking up some steam as we get our first episodes right after the 14th anniversary show. So this means a lot of New Japan on television, so that's a good thing. And like I said, we got a shitload of headlines to cover, Matt, so let's go ahead and kick them off. First off, an interesting kind of bit of news here that TMZ reported that former NWA, WCW, TNA champion Sting has made the decision to retire as a professional wrestler. This came out on St. Paddy's Day, the day after we recorded our last show. And then 3 days later, Mike Johnson from PW Insider reported that Sting has officially retired. Actually, a TMZ cameraman caught up with the Hall of Famer and said his neck's okay and he's not officially retired. And so then that leads to another update just from yesterday by Mike Johnson at PW Insider that he acknowledged that in my mind, of course, he would love to face The Undertaker, but everyone knew that I definitely wanted to have that one match. And of course, WrestleMania would have been the place to do it, but I got hurt, and the rest is history. He noted that he did not have surgery, but was diagnosed with spinal stenosis and has not been suffering from any side effects that the doctors advised that he would have on if he would ever wrestle again. Sting said, "I have to say it, only thing for sure about Sting is nothing's for sure." So, Matt, Orlando, Taker, Sting, what say you?
I say no. I say
No?
I think he's done. I really do. It's just another year added on to his life. You know, obviously, spinal stenosis is what retired Edge. I can't see him safely being able to work a match ever again. I don't know if I'd want to see it, because I think the entire time I would just be afraid for his health and safety the entire time. So,
do you think? Well, do you think it could possibly be a misdiagnosis if he's not having the side effects?
I don't know.
That's very interesting. Interesting for one that it would come out that says he's retired, and then the same website has a camera. Well, of course, those cameramen are every freaking where. They caught up with Sting again, and he said he's not retired. So I don't know. It's real interesting. Some better news for the Stinger, though, in the Beyond the Ring documentary section of the WWE Network. It'll be Sting, the edition of Into the Light, the home video, which was released in October of the past year. So we'll get to see the documentary of that. Matt, have you seen that yet?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was good. I wish it was a little bit longer, but I thought it was solid.
Yeah, so that'll be real cool to check that out. That is, I believe it hits the network on Friday at 4 Eastern, I think is when that hits. So definitely something to check out once that updates. More huge news this week in the professional wrestling world. It was announced that 2 former TNA champions, Bobby Roode and Eric Young, are going to finish their commitments with TNA and leave the company. Currently, Roode is one half of the tag team champions of Beer Money. Obviously, a team that just got put back together when Storm decided to re-sign with TNA. Roode has been with the company forever. He debuted in 2004 as part of the Team Canada group before obviously carving his way into one of the best in the business. He is 39 years old right now. Eric Young, he is the current King of the Mountain champion. Kind of funny how both have belts right now. He's 36 and also debuted in TNA in 2004. Kind of went from more of a jokester, kind of a joke kind of a character into a more serious contender for the title. Obviously, comparisons to the Daniel Bryan run are all over the place. And then, of course, the crazy heel that he is today, which I kind of like myself. So they are both free agents. Matt, before I get into some more updates and comments from the guys themselves and some stuff from Mike Johnson as well, what's your words in regards to these two guys leaving the company?
Well, one, I think James Storm has to feel like a dumbass.
Allegedly, he's got 250,000 reasons to not be a dumbass.
Oh, well, if they actually are paying him.
That's true, because I heard that they just recently, or they finally got Roode caught up on his payments, so they weren't paying Roode on time.
No, they were apparently most of the roster's not getting paid on time. I heard at one point this year they were almost 2 months behind paying people. Yeah, and it's freaking ridiculous. There's no excuse for that. And honestly, I do not blame Roode or Young for requesting their release. And I very much hope we see Bobby Roode in not TNA. I very much hope we see Bobby Roode in NXT sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And hopefully James Storm kind of follows in the footsteps. Maybe he can ask for his release from the contract and sign a fatter contract than he had in NXT.
Well, how do we know? How do we know if James Storm wasn't sent back to TNA as an infiltrating mole from Triple H to go through their talent pool and bring them to the other side?
Didn't I say that a couple weeks ago, at least for Bobby Roode? Didn't I say that a couple weeks ago that they just sent James Storm in to grab him and come back?
I don't know, but you know what? Honestly, if you look at it right now, it seems like a distinct possibility. If within the next year and a half, if James Storm ends back up in WWE or NXT, no one will be able to convince me that James Storm was not sent back to TNA by Triple H to infiltrate that talent roster.
And I think Bobby Roode is a young 39. I don't think he's got the mileage.
Is he really 39?
Uh-huh.
Oh, he doesn't look 39.
But being in TNA, I don't think he has the mileage of a wrestler that would be 39 in the WWE. Do you agree?
Yeah, and I mean most of their main eventers are 45 to 50 anyway, so does it really matter?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, compared to WWE's main event roster talent right now, he's a young guy.
Uh-huh. And NXT, I think, would benefit with Eric Young. I think he would be a great talent.
I'm not sold. I'm not sold on Eric Young coming to WWE. But maybe they could.
I think he would be a great talent.
Do something with him that I won't want to put my head through a wall when I'm watching him on television.
Well, what my point is, I think he would be helpful with the young guys in teaching them and stuff like that. I think Eric Young would be real great in teaching. I don't really know if he would be a main roster guy.
I hear he's got a bunch of TV gigs coming up.
Yeah.
Like he does the fishing show and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've heard he's got some stuff lined up with that kind of stuff that'll be announced probably within the next month or so, which will probably keep him busy. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, look, if WWE wants to bring him in, more power to him. I'm not the biggest Eric Young fan. He can work a great match. I hate the guy's character. I don't really care. I don't really care for him as a face. I cannot stand him as a heel. So it's just like whatever with him. But Bobby Roode, I think WWE would be absolutely insane not to pick him up and add him to the NXT roster as soon as humanly possible. Honestly, I would have him sitting front row of NXT TakeOver Dallas during Austin Aries and Baron Corbin. I wouldn't have him jump the rail. I would do nothing other than I'd bring him in. I'd bring him in and I'd have him sitting front row during that match.
Maybe have a little dirty heel stare down.
I'd have him have words with Corbin.
No, I'm talking about just a little tease, a little hey, I know you. Hey, I know you too.
No, I wouldn't even do that. I would have Roode interact with Corbin. And
Roode and Corbin would be a fun match.
Yeah. So I would have Roode be the reason that Corbin loses to Aries.
Corbin's moveset has dramatically improved over the past 6 months to the fact where I personally think he's now ready for the main roster, where when it was rumored he was going to move up to the main roster, I didn't think he was quite ready. I think he's very close to being ready right now. And obviously we'll get a bird's eye view of him in person against Austin Aries next week. TNA released a comment on the departing stars. They said Impact Wrestling has come to the terms of the release of veteran wrestlers Bobby Roode and Eric Young. Bobby and Eric have been valuable members of the Impact roster since 2004, and we wish them nothing but the best in their careers going forward. Bobby Roode said that to the guys and girls I got to work with for the past 12 years, Impact Wrestling, The Office, and everyone associated with me getting to live this dream, I say thank you. It is time for me to move on to the next chapter of my life. This has been amazing. Eric Young said thank you. Thank you to everyone who's watched me for the past 12 years. Thank you to Impact Wrestling. I wish everyone here nothing but the best going forward. Executive Vice President John Gaburik added, Bobby and Eric are true professionals. We salute them for the 12 years they gave TNA. So, obviously a lot of respect for two guys that were cornerstones. And Bobby Roode also, or Eric Young took to Twitter, posted a picture of him and Bobby Roode stating 12 years ago we signed our first contract side by side. Today we step into the open market again. And Bobby Roode also tweeted, thank you to everyone who had a part in making the last 12 years of my life unforgettable. On to the next chapter of my life. #ItFactor. And Mike Johnson had some things to say. I'm not going to go over all of it, especially the future at TNA. You can read that on Pro Wrestling Insider. But we'll discuss the future of TNA and such in Burning Questions this week. And Matt, how funny is it? Just about a week before WrestleMania, and our Burning Questions segment is about TNA and not the WWE.
I don't know. Yeah. That was your decision, pal.
It's my decision because there's no burning questions for WrestleMania right now, which is sad in its own right, but we'll get to that later. Mike Johnson on Bobby Roode. After speaking with multiple sources, in the case of Roode, it appears the situation was somewhat similar to what happened to AJ Styles several years ago. Roode had been signed to an existing TNA deal that allowed him to be one of, if not the highest paid talent in the company. As Roode's recent deal came to an end last month, with Roode as one half of the tag team champions, TNA wasn't in a position where they could continue to pay Roode at the level he was previously receiving, nor Roode being used at that level where TNA could derive some sort of revenue necessary to viably pay him. So Roode has effectively worked himself into a position where he was too expensive for TNA in its current state to retain. We've also heard in several months a bigger issue that Roode has been extremely unhappy with TNA pay being behind and was very vocal about it to TNA management, which led to a lot of frustration and issues between the two sides. We've heard from multiple sources that TNA eventually did catch Roode up in pay. We also were told that Bobby Roode recently agreed to a new deal and had a change of heart and requested his release after one source called it more frustrations. What exactly was the tipping point is unknown, and it's doubtful that either side will go on the record with it, but it's possible pay was an issue again. We've heard from multiple sources that TNA completely caught up whatever they owed Roode. TNA negotiated an exit with Roode, getting his complete release in exchange for him working this past set of TV tapings. He was free, completely free and clear as of midnight, March 20th, currently taking independent dates. So you think pay is a thing again, or something more to it, Matt?
It's all about pay, dude.
Probably behind again. Oh, remember, they're looking for investors. Well, we need people to write our paychecks.
Yeah, you know what? And it's just sad. The company can't get out of its own way financially.
No.
And you're doing stuff like this. You're going to piss off your talent, and people are going to get upset. And there were definite, if you want to believe Dave Meltzer, apparently the morale of the talent was very low at the television tapings last week, which Hurricane Helms is leading the charge in saying that he's full of shit and there's no bad morale in TNA, which honestly, when you're so defiant and vocal and, dare I say, whiny about a report from somebody like that, leads me to believe that there's some truth to it. Because if there wasn't any truth to it, wouldn't you just leave it alone?
I mean, they are having Pope come out of the commentary booth.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. I think there is bad morale in the TNA locker room right now, and I think people are tired of it. And I think people that are going on attacking people such as Meltzer for quote-unquote falsely reporting something, I think you're almost justifying his reporting by going after him like you're doing. Because to me, it makes you all look really fucking guilty.
In the words Mike Johnson had for Eric Young, in the case of Eric Young, we were told that Young had signed a new deal recently, but after being with the company 12 years, he was said to have been upset with what he'd been offered for that deal. Beyond that, one source believed Young was frustrated to see TNA talents who had much shorter tenure or had left and returned offered the deals at the same level or better. It should be noted that while others are likely to be locked in 100% for TNA, Young is believed to had the ability to do outside projects such as his past reality series, with TNA not being involved with that aspect of his career. We are told that Young had voiced his unhappiness, and TNA management asked him to decide if he wanted to remain or wanted to see if he wanted to be a free agent. At 36, Young had decided he'd rather not be locked in a deal and wanted the ability to explore options elsewhere. So he had the company negotiated his release, part of which was Young working the last week of TV tapings. Young is also completely free and clear to sign anywhere he wants and is currently taking independent dates. Young leaving specifically shocked a lot of people in the company since he'd been one of the most loyal talents in the history of TNA. And Mike Johnson also goes on to talk about the future of TNA, so make sure you check out his article entitled Eric Young and Bobby Roode, What Happened at Pro Wrestling, PWInsider.com or PWInsiderElite.com. So, interesting on Eric Young's case, where they were paying other people, probably Mike Bennett, the same amount of money as Eric Young. So I guess his time to bolt. With his outside adventures, maybe Ring of Honor is a better fit for him. I think he's got the star power to at least be in NXT or Ring of Honor, I think.
He's a good enough worker. He can go anywhere he wants. Mm-hmm. It's just I don't care for his character enough to really care where he shows up. I mean, that's nothing. It's nothing against him as a person. I go make your living and work and be happy and you do whatever. I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of the Eric Young character, and I don't know if a reboot of his attitude in any promotion would make me change my mind.
So do you think next on the too expensive to retain list would be Matt and Jeff?
I don't think they're letting them go.
Well, I think Jeff's the sole reason for the ratings, and we'll talk about those here later on. A little more on Eric Young, and Eric Young had called into the Busted Open show with Doug Mortman and Dave LaGracia, and to discuss why he left TNA and what lies ahead for him. As for his reasons for leaving, he said, "For me, it's 12 years, and sometimes it's time to move on. I'm not saying because I wasn't fulfilled with what I was doing here or the people I was working with. It just became time. I'm not a dirt guy or drag people through the mud. TNA's been my home for 12 years. They allowed me to make a pretty good living in professional wrestling for 12 years. I wish them all the luck. Things don't end because they're good. People don't get divorced because they're having an amazing love life and still love each other and things are great. Things end because they're not the way they're supposed to be. Things were not the way they're supposed to be for me, in my opinion, so it was time for me to step away and do something else." What's that going to be? I don't have any idea. It's terrifying and exciting, and there's lots of stuff up in the air with wrestling. There's some kind of big stuff in the works for television for me right now, and I can't talk about it contractually. It's terrifying. I'm 36 years old, and I'm unemployed for the first time in my life. It's pretty crazy. And then also, he was asked on Bobby Roode saying the TNA brand had become stale. And he said, I think what he was trying to say, I don't know exactly, but what he's trying to say is he's a guy that's done all of it. He's done everything and is feeling stale himself. I don't think he meant the brand.
Yeah, I think he did.
If it maybe came across that way, you'd have to ask for himself. For me, I was excited.
I think he was very clearly stating that the brand was bland.
The brand was bland. For me, I was excited with what I was doing. I liked doing the heel thing. This was completely new to me. It's got nothing to do with feeling stale. For me, it was just time professionally to move on. It's got nothing to do with in-ring. Often the problems of the wrestling business get in the way of wrestling. And that's TNA in a nutshell. That's what it comes down to. The wrestling business got in the way of me being happy and things being right, so it's time for me to do something else. And then finally, on whether NXT or WWE may be his future home, he says, obviously it's a definite possibility from the second that something was put up. Of course, the parallels are being drawn, and it's something that's definitely an option for me. The book is wide open, and never in my career have I had that. I've always been a TNA guy. It's exciting to say that I'm going to open another chapter. I've got a good foothold in pro wrestling, and it's cool to be able to choose and to have that ability, because not everyone gets the choice. It's a very cool thing, very flattering. So obviously Eric Young, very gracious in his exit from TNA, and danced around the stale comment pretty well. Bobby Roode himself was interviewed by the Peterborough Examiner in Canada, where he said he felt like it's the right time. After almost 13 years in a wrestling company, I feel like there was nothing really left for me to do there. I wanted to mutually part ways. I have nothing negative to say about TNA wrestling, except for that they're stale. They really left me to do I wanted to mutually part ways. I have nothing negative to say about TNA wrestling. They treated me very, very well. As a matter of me being a part of my life where I'm not sure TNA was the right fit for me anymore. Oh, here we go. The brand has been stale for the last little while, and the growth wasn't
Can you
there.
get any more blatant than that?
And the growth wasn't there as it was in the early years. Pretty.
I saw Roode comments from somewhere this week. I don't remember where I read it, but he even commented he didn't like the fact that he felt his career was going backwards by reforming Beer Money. So in a way, James Storm returning to TNA was the beginning of the end of Bobby Roode's exit.
And it continues the conspiracy theory.
Yep. It's crazy, dude. There's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going, and I think there's a lot more going on than we have any idea.
Well, we'll see where the ship is going from here. More interesting news from the world of professional wrestling. The first part of the news came out yesterday, and then some more bigger news came out later today. Daniel Bryan pulled from additional dates, and
all dates now.
The initial review, the initial report that Bryan has been pulled from additional dates. They noted that the Daniel Bryan Appreciation Ceremony from this Friday's WWE event at Madison Square Garden has been pulled. He's also been pulled from the Saturday event in Trenton. And then later on, I believe it said the post-WrestleMania European Tour. And they said at the time he is still listed for a VIP signing with WrestleMania Access until today, where it said that the final advertised performance for the former WWE World Heavyweight Champion Daniel Bryan, his VIP signing Sunday, April 3rd at WrestleMania Access Dallas, has been canceled. Tickets for the appearance have been pulled, and a replacement will be announced yesterday, and as they reported yesterday's other events that were canceled. And in a response to a PW Insider inquiry from Mike Johnson, the WWE issued the following statement. Daniel Bryan requested time off, and it was granted. Now, So now we don't know any more than what we've just told you now. So Matt, now we got to speculate why Daniel Bryan was pulled from all current and post WrestleMania activities.
I wish I knew.
Was it all the ruse and he's returning at WrestleMania?
Oh, will you stop? Obviously, it's not that.
God,
but
I wish.
There's something going on. There's something going on. There's no reason for this to happen so quickly. It doesn't make any sense at all. Like, I don't...
A week out?
Yeah. I can't even begin to fathom or understand what's going on. Something happened. Something broke down between the WWE and Daniel Bryan. And who knows when or if we're ever going to hear what. But something bad happened. And that's the only thing I can speculate right now. Unless it's some kind of health issue that just recently arose with him that he needs to take care of. The only thing I can see is something happened between him and WWE, and that's not a good thing.
No,
I don't know what the hell's going on.
What if
I don't want to see the guy ever in the ring again.
Yeah,
especially when you sit there on ESPN, you talk about these seizures that you're having.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why you retired, was because of those tests in New York. I don't ever want to see this man step in a wrestling ring again. Unless it's on a WWE video game, I don't ever want to see Daniel Bryan in the ring again. It's just I worry for his long-term health and for his safety. And I love, Daniel Bryan to death. I've been a fan of his for as long as I can remember. But, for crying out loud, I don't know, man. It doesn't feel, this timing, the way this is all being done, it does not feel good. Because those access VIP tickets for him were going for an extraordinarily high prices on StubHub.
Oh, were they?
Oh, yeah, like $500 a piece. And people were paying these outrageously overpriced things just to go stand in a line and meet him and take a picture with him.
Yeah, and
for this to be canceled and not happen, and those people that spent those outrageously overpriced StubHub ticket prices are probably raging. And honestly, I can't blame them.
I'm sure the money will get refunded.
No, they're gonna put a replacement.
Well, I wonder if
StubHub, those tickets will be good for whoever WWE gets to replace him Sunday morning.
Roman Reigns.
Dude, I'm telling you, they need to give him someone like Shawn Michaels or something.
Yeah, Michaels is doing WrestleCon.
Yeah, but he's doing WrestleCon on Friday, and you damn well know he's going to show up in Dallas on Sunday night.
Yeah.
So you better give them these people that paid this money for Daniel Bryan. You better give them somebody like Stone Cold Steve Austin or Shawn Michaels or The Rock, or somebody like that. Don't fuck these guys over, because there's going to be a lot of pissed off fans that weekend that just wanted to meet Daniel Bryan and now they can't. And WWE literally, it's false advertising. And if something fell through between WWE and Daniel Bryan, and as I said, and I stand by this, unless this was a health issue, the fact that it's so bad that between WWE and Daniel, that Daniel would not come to Dallas to meet his fans on the Sunday morning of WrestleMania, something seriously went wrong, badly. So it's not good, man.
Well, hopefully we have an answer before we record next Tuesday, because we're going to have Lost in the Midcard
super show.
Yes, hopefully our Fatal 4 roundtable will take shape.
That's going to be insane.
I got to talk with Charles and Trevor yet, but hopefully we can get our Fatal 4 roundtable together for WrestleMania. I'm not sure if we'll have all four of them on for the whole show, or if we'll just do our WrestleMania and NXT portions of it. We'll kind of work those out in the following week, but hopefully we get some more clarity. I don't know if it's something how they're treating Brie. It could be a lot of things. But yeah, it's a very weird situation. So we'll have to keep tabs on that.
I'll tell you what, right now, if there's something seriously, if there's some kind of axe grinded down the middle between Daniel Bryan and WWE right now, last time we see Brie Bella is at WrestleMania. We might not ever see her again.
Because she's fully ready to leave the company now.
I mean, was she? I don't even know. Was she even on TV this week? Was she on the SmackDown tapings?
I don't know.
I'm gonna look that up right now. That's interesting. That's super interesting. Because I know she wasn't on Raw. Let me see.
Because I think her contract runs out right around after SummerSlam.
Yes, Brie Bella was not on SmackDown this week.
I can't remember about Raw. Well, we're going to recap that here in a little bit. But
she was not. I know she wasn't on Raw.
Maybe I caught something there. All right. In a lighter note,
I want to point this out to you right now. The big storyline that happened at the main event tapings, they brought Emma back up to the main roster and all that.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Okay. I'll go over. Yeah. Right now, it looks like it's going to be a 5-on-5 Divas tag match at WrestleMania with Lana, Naomi, Tamina, Summer Rae, and Emma against Brie, Paige, Natalya, Alicia Fox, and somebody to be named. And they're calling them Team Total Divas, so I'm assuming it's either going to be a returning Nikki Bella or Eva Marie. And on the main event tapings where they set up this storyline, they didn't even do it on SmackDown. They did it on main event. Naomi was with Tamina and Lana against Paige, who was with Natalya and Alicia Fox. Brie Bella, nowhere to be seen.
I wonder if I wonder if Bayley gets added to that.
What if she got pregnant?
Oh, well, that wouldn't pull Daniel Bryan from things, though.
If she's pregnant and she's off the road, Daniel Bryan ain't gonna want to go to, and Daniel Bryan's not gonna go on the road without her.
Yeah, but she could still be at wrestle. If she could not wrestle, but she could still appear.
Maybe
you know
she doesn't want to.
Yeah.
You know what? Where there's smoke, there's fire, and right now I'm looking at the Brie Bella factor right now. Something's going on with Brie, which is in turn is going on with Bryan.
Who brought that up? This guy.
JB, you get credit where credit's due all the time.
This guy.
Yes, I know. Calm down, Jobber.
Eli Drake.
Oh my God. Yeah, who cares about
Von Don.
Why do you keep on naming jobbers? Let it go.
Let's go to a lighter note. This kind of is very interesting. Matt and I are both excited at the prospects of it. A very interesting tweet came out tonight about 5:30 Central Time by a guy. I don't know who he is, but his Twitter handle is @PrinceCGR, and he posts a photo.
That's Cody Rhodes, dude.
What?
That's Cody Rhodes' Twitter account.
Oh, that's weird.
I thought you knew that.
No.
Yeah, that's Cody has his own personal Twitter account that's not affiliated with WWE, and that's it.
So that makes sense. And he posted. I thought somebody just found a leak.
No, that's freaking Cody Rhodes' Twitter account.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Oh.
Cody Rhodes posts on his Twitter account. I might have known that because he posted something before, and yeah. He goes, curious, and it's him in a suit, no Stardust gimmick, in a suit in front of a green screen, and also in suits joining him, Tyler Breeze and Ty Dillinger. I wonder if we're getting ourselves a little Fortune / Evolution / Legacy type little thing here with Cody and a couple of young bucks. And Cody's not really an old buck himself. I think he's just 30 right now, if my memory serves me right.
Yeah, I don't think he's that old.
He's just been in the business a long time because he started at 22. But he was the grandson of a plumber. So, Matt, I'm excited with this little photo. Hopefully it goes somewhere. I like all three guys. I've been waiting for Cody to come back, so what do you think?
I think it's cool. I don't see anything wrong with it. You know, if you wanna form this stable, you want to get rid of Stardust, you want to do something with Tyler Breeze, you want to bring Ty Dillinger up to the main roster, I don't have a problem with it at all. I think it could be really cool. I'm curious to see where it goes.
I didn't expect Dillinger to get the call up at this point in his career, but he has had quite the fan backing ever since he switched to the Perfect 10 gimmick. The fans at NXT love him. So obviously he's a good wrestler. So I'm interested here. This is like I said, I'm sorry I didn't realize that was Cody Rhodes himself, but how interesting for Cody to post that and then just type in curious. I mean, what the fuck?
It is curious.
But I do miss the old Cody. Stardust was cool for a while, and Cody does a phenomenal job with it. Don't get me wrong, but his ceiling is limited with Stardust. As Cody Rhodes, he's going to be a world champion. Not going to be a world champion as Stardust. Goldust was never a world champion as Goldust, so limited ceiling with those kind of gimmicks. Even though props to Cody for doing a hell of a job with it, but it looks like the end of Stardust could be nigh. Latest inductee into the Hall of Fame. Before I go in and talk about this great bad guy, I just noticed the fact that Matt, there's no celebrity inductee into the Hall of Fame.
Rumors are if it happens, will be announced this Monday. And the names I keep hearing being bounced around are either Regis Philbin or Snoop Dogg.
Regis, I don't remember much of him in the WWE. I know he was involved.
He did a lot. He did a lot of stuff in the '80s, early '90s. So
they should put Lemmy in from Motorhead.
Yeah, that would be cool. I wouldn't have a problem with that.
You could have Triple H induct him, or you could have Chris Jericho induct him and Triple H receive the award for him, or vice versa. I guess the way I just put it would have been best. Have Jericho induct and Trips do the speech. I think that'd be great. Snoop Dogg has been great with the WWE. Obviously related to Sasha Banks, so I hope one of these times, hopefully WrestleMania, by surprise, maybe Snoop Dogg shows up on Raw to side with Sasha Banks. You know, you got Nate in one corner, and I don't know, for Becky Lynch, have Finn Balor be in her corner to even things out. I would be all right with that. But the last inductee into the Hall of Fame that we know of, Stan Hansen, man from Waco, Texas. And he was trained by the Funks and made his debut in 1973, retired in 2001. I grew up watching him definitely grew up watching him in World Championship Wrestling. He started his career in the WWF, and then, of course, which then turned into the WWF. He was there in 76, and then also from 80 to 81 before he went to the AWA, and he was there from 85 to 86. He was also in Japan, All Japan Pro Wrestling, the entire time there as well. He was with All Japan for 9 years, and also with New Japan Pro Wrestling just before that, 80 to 81, and then also in 1990. He came back to the States in 1990 and wrestled in World Championship Wrestling until 91, before finally returning to All Japan Pro Wrestling, where he finished his last 10 years of his career with them. He's known for the lariat. He's also known for having a big old piece of Red Man chaw sticking out of his mouth while he's wrestling. And God, I hope he didn't swallow that chaw. Of course, that tough son of a bitch probably could swallow chaw and not blink an eye. So I could totally see that. He has won a ton of titles with All Japan Pro Wrestling. Heavyweight Championship 4 times. He was a PWF World Tag Team Championship 4 times. Champion 4 times. Twice with Ted DiBiase, once with Bruiser Brody. He was a World Tag Team Champion in All Japan 8 times, 2 with Terry Gordy, 1 with Dan Spivey, 1 with Ted DiBiase, and also just a ton of titles all across the board. AWA, he was a heavyweight champion once, Georgia Championship Wrestling, Mid-Atlantic. It just goes on, and the titles that this guy won. He has 3 5-star matches from the Wrestling Observer. One of them was a tag match with Bruiser Brody against Dorian Terry Funk. The other one was with Terry Gordy against a couple of Japanese wrestlers back in '88, and then in '93 a singles match, a 5-star match with Kenta Kobayashi. He was also for Pro Wrestling Illustrated Match of the Year in '76 with Bruno Sammartino, also most hated wrestler in 1976, and in 1991 he was ranked 24th in the top 500 for PWI yearly countdown. So a great champion, a great heel. He was only in the WCW for 2 years, but those are a couple of the years that I watched every Saturday night. So it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see him in the Hall of Fame. Matt, have you heard of they announced Vader is inducting him?
Correct. Right? Vader's inducting him, and the New Day is inducting the Freebirds.
Yep, the New Day is inducting the Freebirds. I was going to mention that later on in the show, but Matt,
that's what I do.
Why not Kerry Von Erich?
Well, Kerry Von Erich is dead.
Or,
So
or Kevin Von
that would definitely be a big reason why.
I meant Kevin. God damn it.
I don't know. As far as I knew, he was a lock to do it. Obviously,
yeah, he tweeted that he's heading to WrestleMania.
Yeah, well, something happened and he's not now. So,
and now all the racial things are coming out about Hayes and oh, will he shake the hands of those black guys and all that jazz? And
will you stop?
Yeah, that's what I said. But it's
going to be people need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, they do. It's going to be it'll be a fun moment. I just would have rather seen Kevin Von Erich, because. Again, Freebirds Von Erich's one of the best feuds of all time in professional wrestling. And kind of interesting here, where Sports Illustrated spoke with former IWGP champion Tanahashi, and he has desire to be the ROH World Champion, Matt. How about that?
Meh.
Little Tanahashi, Jay Lethal. Would you be down for that little singles match?
I don't really like the idea of New Japan talent holding the Ring of Honor championships. And a perfect example of why I don't is the fact that Ishii, who should be defending his television championship in Dallas next week, can't come. So instead, Lio Rush is in a no-win situation against Jay Lethal, where they'll put on a great match, but everybody and their mother knows that Lio Rush isn't winning the ROH World Championship in Dallas. You could have definitely said, well, maybe he can beat Ishii, especially since he's a New Japan talent that honestly he shouldn't be holding the title to begin with. But now they're in a situation where, yeah, you're gonna get a fun title match with Leo and Lethal, but you damn well know that there's not gonna be a title change there. So yeah, I do not want to see Tanahashi with the Ring of Honor World Championship because we're going to run into the same problems that they're running with the TV title right now. I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, at least this is going to put Lio Rush on the map, though. I mean, this dude made his goddamn debut in 2015, and he's fighting Jay Lethal, and it's going to be a good match.
Oh, the match is going to be awesome. Nobody is debating that. It's just,
what if you always say yourself anything can happen in Ring of Honor?
Not this, dude. He's too young. They cannot in his fourth match in Ring of Honor put the world title on him. They can't do it. Yeah, anything can happen in Ring of Honor except for that. That.
Thanks for the asterisk.
That can't happen.
Anything can happen except for that. I will do anything, but I won't do that. TNA Knockouts pay-per-view is currently, I think, just recently taped, and a lot of new faces in the Knockouts division. Kind of interesting to see a few of these ladies, including Shelly Martinez, who was in WWE for some time with Kevin Thorne. Veda Scott, who's currently in Ring of Honor, the valet for Cedric Alexander, also a wrestler in her own right. Blue Pants, Leva Bates is also there. Former NWA champion Barbie Hayden. Cherry Bomb, who has been rumored to have already signed with TNA. And another girl that was in NXT just had a match last week, Deonna Purrazzo. So what do you think of some of those ladies in the old Knockouts division for the TNA pay-per-view, Matt?
I think Deonna Purrazzo might be the dumbest person on the planet right now. I know, yeah, I get that you're not signed with NXT yet, and you want to go out and you want to work the independents, and you want to get paid and make the money and all that. But to be dumb enough to go work a TNA show, when you're working dates with the WWE brand, and them looking at you to maybe sign you, probably the dumbest thing she could have done. I don't think we'll ever see her on NXT television again, and I think she burned her own bridge. So I think she's not a very smart lady. Let me put it that way.
The other name stood out to me was Veda Scott. Do you think this is just kind of a one-off for her?
I don't know what her contract situation is in Ring of Honor, so that's a very good question. Honestly, I think Ring of Honor is a hell of a lot more forgiving than WWE is. So...
and she's got a prominent role in Ring of Honor. And I mean, I'd love to see Ring of Honor get those women on TV, but I don't know. They don't seem to be in a hurry with it, or are they just content with where they're at with the women? Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a good question, man. I'm honestly not sure. I don't know.
And obviously, Blue Pants, she was just kind of on a per pay basis with NXT and hasn't been on NXT in a long time.
Yeah, so I mean that's not an issue.
No, and
but
she's
Peraza's
a great talent.
Been being used a lot.
She was on TV last week.
Yeah, so for her to go and work that TNA shot, I think she really just screwed with her own future in that company. I thought it was a really bad move on her part.
USA Network is going to do a kickoff show on WrestleMania Day at 5 Eastern, 4 Pacific, or 4 Central. Jesus Christ. Is it 4? Is it 4? I might have my times mixed up here. Show starts at 6, so I think it'd be 5 Central, 6 Eastern, I believe is when USA. So they're going to show segments from the Hall of Fame special, and that's going to actually premiere on Thursday.
Yeah,
April 7th.
What USA is airing that Sunday is going to be the same thing that the WWE Network is airing. They're going to be airing. They're going to be airing the second hour of the WrestleMania pre-show live on the USA Network.
And then
which
also
is basically a blatant 1 hour plug for people to buy the network that night. That's all that is. Yeah, and I don't blame WWE for taking that opportunity. If USA offers to air it, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm going to let you air it. Yeah,
and they're definitely going to have one pretty fun match to watch on that USA special, as the Andre the Giant Battle Royal will be on that kickoff show. So like Matt said, kickoff is a 2-hour preview show. The second hour is going to air on USA as well as the WWE Network, and so that'll be pretty cool. Whet your appetite, and you'll, I don't know if I want to. Well, the network's free if you haven't had it. Get it. Yes. Jesus Christ. But
stop being jobbers.
And USA is also going to do a Rock movie marathon leading into that kickoff show. So if you're a fan of The Rock, man, you're going to get the rundown, which I loved with Stifler there. Faster, which I don't remember. Is that where that one kid gets into some trouble and turns to The Rock for help or something?
No, Faster's that one. I think The Rock only had like one line in the entire movie. He was just going around killing everybody.
And then, of course, Fast 5 from the Fast and Furious and G.I. Joe Retaliation. So those 5 movies are going to, or 4 movies are going to air right before the kickoff special. And like I said, it pays to have a huge kayfabe dick. And the verdict is in, and Hulk Hogan is going to be considerably richer. The jury has awarded Hulk Hogan $115 million plus $25 million in punitive damages. I don't know if Gawker's got that much money, but
I'm hearing the price of the bond that they have to pay in Florida just to appeal this case might screw them over to begin with. I hear they have to have I hear in the state of Florida they have to have like a $50 million bond put up to even appeal this decision in court. And if they lose, that bond immediately goes to Hogan as Gawker basically as part of the payment.
Gawker, obviously known as pretty much a smut site, which of course then showed the sex tape of Hulk Hogan. Since then, they've changed their whole gimmick. They're now a political website. Go figure.
Well, they can go gawk something else for all I care.
Yeah, they could gawk Trump's cock, I guess, because they're going to have to. Obviously, and Hogan, man, props to Hogan for rolling the dice, because he truly believed he was going to win the case. They offered him a settlement. We don't know what that settlement was. It probably was pretty juicy. It was probably at least 7 figures, maybe close to 8. But now he's got 9 figures, Matt.
Brother.
Oh, my God. And I don't know. Now this is all said and done. Obviously, the evidence
we don't know
is
if it's all said and
unsealed.
done yet, but
Yeah. Well, now that this has been out of the way, even though the stuff is going to be unsealed, do you still think he can return to the WWE?
I think eventually he'll be back. He was supposed to do a whole bunch of stuff this morning on like Good Morning America and The View or whatnot, but I didn't really go out of my way to find anything about that, how that went. So,
some good news finally in terms of the WWE roster. Cesaro is being locally advertised for a WWE event April 15th in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. So Cesaro has been out of action for several months with a shoulder injury, and so is being locally advertised to return just after WrestleMania. And Matt?
actually, I do have some information from the Good Morning America this morning when Hogan had some comments on the WWE. So remind me to come back to that.
All right. Just real quick here, we'll go up to that right after I ask you your thoughts on Cesaro. If he is going to get a big push like he deserves finally when he gets back. Guess that's a no. Guess that's a no.
Not going to happen.
God, what's it going to take?
Vince will never allow us to change our Lost in the Midcard mascot. It will always be Cesaro. As much as we love him, as much as he deserves the push, we damn well know it's not going to happen. And no, the fact that they're saying that he's going to be back in the ring on April 15th, which is literally only like a week after WrestleMania, and he's not going to be in like the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal or something, and they're not going to use him in wrestling. Look,
it's possible he could be in the.
Here's the way.
He could be a surprise entrance in that battle.
Here's the way I look at it. If they're claiming he's ready to wrestle by April 15th, on April 3rd, if he is not in some shape or form involved in WrestleMania, they have no plans to push him at all. Period.
Well, you can't really put a guy in there with no story build unless
in
it's
the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Really, you can't put somebody in there. You can't throw a third person in the United States title match. You can't throw an 8th person in the ladder match.
Shut up!
You damn well know I'm right. That's why you want me to shut up.
I'm talking about storyline wise. That's why I said, except for maybe the Intercontinental match, because all of a sudden the 3 other individuals are in that match out of the blue. Of course, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. But there's no
US title
feud.
You can't throw him in there with Callisto and Ryback. I don't fucking care. It'd be fucking better than that one-on-one piece of shit match we're gonna get.
It'd be great, like maybe if Sin Cara's laid out or Stardust is laid out, and all of a sudden Cesaro's music hits. Oh,
honestly, I don't want Cesaro's first match back in the company to be a ladder match.
That's true.
Honestly, I want him to come in and take it. I want him to come in and take it easy.
Andre the Giant Battle Royal is probably the best spot for him right now.
I
plus,
would
he's
agree.
a winner of that, and plus he's a winner of that match. So him and the Big Show are the 2 winners of the match, with this being the 3rd iteration, which probably is going to be won by Braun Strowman.
Why couldn't he been the one that tore his ACL?
Oh, is that what happened to Harper?
That's what I'm hearing.
Ooh, Harper, dark match after Raw.
Yep.
Got injured.
I know he was not present at the SmackDown tapings Tuesday night.
Somebody ringside took a photo they were kind of parallel with the announce table, so they had a pretty good shot, and they showed Harper sitting up against the announce table with a physician alongside. So that's not good.
Yeah, it just looked like a freak accident. Nothing happened. You know how wrestlers like stomp their foot down to punch. To make the noise really impactful with the mat.
Yeah,
it looked like something as simple as that. It
just popped.
Yeah, like remember when the first time Triple H tore his quad?
Yeah,
when he was stumbling in to break up the walls of Jericho or whatever, and it was a non-contact injury. It just happened. That's what it looked like happened to Harper. It just happened. There's nothing that could have been done to protect him there. It looked by video to be a non-contact injury.
Madison Square Garden is the return for the WWE on next Friday. So that would be
doesn't mean anything anymore since it's no longer Daniel Bryan Appreciation Night.
Yeah, but the card has been released. Is that this Friday, or is it the Friday before WrestleMania, or this Friday?
It's this Friday.
Okay, this could have been a good thing to put on the network too, I think. But obviously, man, with Daniel Bryan, it's not. But there's some cool matches here, just to kind of show a glorified house show. But on the card, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose are going to take on Triple H and Sheamus. Kevin Owens against AJ Styles, and they've had a couple of classics lately. Kalisto, Alberto Del Rio, and Ryback in a triple threat match. Kane and Big Show against Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family, which now will probably be Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman. New Day versus the Dudleys versus the Usos. Dolph Ziggler against Miz, also appearing. Cross off Daniel Bryan. Ric Flair, Charlotte, Rusev, Lana, Sin Cara, Natalya, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch. So, pretty cool show in one of the cool arenas in the world.
Did you want?
And guess what? That arena now can host MMA, UFC.
Did you want to hear? But did you want to hear the Hogan comments?
Yes, please.
On Good Morning America today, they asked him about a potential relationship in the future with WWE. To which Hogan replied, "It would be really nice. It would be really nice to be, in the Hall of Fame, but it's not as important as what we did with this case. I don't think you can destroy my legacy, because the fans know Hulk Hogan and know what flipped the switch on this industry. It would be great to be a part of the Hall of Fame and be legitimate and be, looked at by the establishment of the WWE as back in good graces. But if it doesn't happen, it would be sad. But I can look at myself in the mirror and be happy." So that's what Hogan had to say to Good Morning America this morning. Post,
this is completely different than a China and Sunny incident. He had no idea. The court found out to be the truth and awarded him damages. So I can't see where we can't have Hogan appear every once in a while.
Dude, if it were me, I'd bring him out in Dallas and have him punch Vince in the face.
Ooh,
I would have him come. I would have him do a run-in during that match, during the Hell in a Cell, because 1,000,001 people are going to interfere. I'd hit that freaking Real American theme. No one would know he was there. I'd hide him in a truck all day. I'd have him come down and freaking punch McMahon's lights out. I seriously would. And the pop that he would get in Dallas would be insane.
Oh, yeah, because everybody's so sympathetic. Everybody's glad to see him back in the WWE. You could watch him go down that ramp, pointing that finger all the way down, talking shit. Oh, that'd be so fun.
Yeah, that's what I would keep it super quiet. No one would know about it, and I'd have him come out. I'd have him come out and lay out Vince during that match.
We're in for something fucking insane at WrestleMania.
Dude, the amount I know the amount of interference we're going to get in that match is going to be insane.
I can't put my finger on what exactly it's going to be, but something is going to make us talk on Monday, and then we'll see what happens on Monday after that.
Yeah. Sunday and Monday of that week are going to be very. It is very crucial to the rest of the WWE's year in 2016 as to what happens in that 48-hour period. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be very, very interesting.
Let's talk ratings as we wrap up headlines. I told you I had a lot of headlines, an hour's worth of headlines here, and we finish it off with ratings. SmackDown audience just slightly increases to 2.26 million, while the Raw audience decreases for the fourth straight week. February 22nd, they were at 3.8 million. They've decreased every week since then, leading up to WrestleMania. Highly expect next week, though, to be a fairly big jump, because that's going to be the go home all hands on deck show. As standard fare on most of the ratings, Raw's third hour had the least amount by $100,000. Total Divas inches back up again as they recover from us not talking about it any longer. 663,000 people, and hey, Jeff Hardy must help, as the TNA audience increased after Drew Galloway, Drew's title win, 331,000. So at least TNA's not hurting in the ratings compared to what they had going into lockdown a month ago.
It's very obvious the combination of Jeff being off TV and Matt's overbearing heel gimmick as champion led to the downfall of TNA's ratings in the early part of 2016. Matt has lost the championship, which obviously makes a lot of people that tuned out happy. Jeff Hardy's back on TV, which obviously makes a lot of people that tuned out happy, and they're tuning back in. I mean, numbers don't lie, and it's very evident that when Matt Hardy won the championship and Jeff Hardy was written off TV for the UK tour, that the ratings suffered in kind. And now the championship's off Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy's back on TV, and ratings are going back up. You can say whatever the hell you want, but let's face it, that all that says is Matt Hardy's reign as TNA champion was a failure.
Mm-hmm.
So, and honestly, and I told you, remember we discussed this a couple months ago, that I thought the way that Matt was handling himself on social media, on Twitter, and the way he was talking to fans and treating the viewing audience was going to come back and bite them in the ass.
It did.
And it did. And I think that has a lot to do with it. Yeah, you can be a heel on TV in 2016, but don't be a heel on social media in 2016 when you're a company that is desperate for any viewer you can possibly get to watch your show on Tuesday nights. It's not smart business.
Yeah, there's a difference between what Matt Hardy is doing on social media and what Kevin Owens is doing on social media.
Oh, absolutely. There's a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to NXT from tonight and or last night as you're listening to the podcast. And the second to last NXT before NXT TakeOver Dallas, which is a week from this Friday on the WWE Network. And don't adjust your clocks. It's going to be at an odd time. TakeOver Dallas does not start until 10 Eastern, 9 Central.
That is because of the ending time of Access that Friday night. Like, Access doesn't end until like 9 o'clock Central. So they obviously want to have enough time for people who are attending in both to get out of Access and in their seats for TakeOver, prior to the show starting.
And that would be me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to both on Friday, so. Oh, we kick off the show with the Drifter, Elias Sampson, taking on Johnny Gargano, and pretty good back and forth match between these two. Matt probably still does not like Elias Sampson, like I do. Obviously, we both like Johnny Gargano, and Gargano gets the win, giving Sampson his first loss in NXT. Afterwards, Sampson, as a heel, attacks Gargano from behind and goes on to beat up Gargano before Apollo Crews makes the save. So this may set up a feud between Sampson and Crews, or obviously Sampson and Gargano. So maybe Gargano is now locked in a little more with NXT, Matt. Does that maybe tell you that with what happened tonight?
I don't know if that tells us that tonight, but I also think what it does tell you is WWE or the NXT creative team is quickly realizing that the Drifter is just the jobber, and his character is not over, and it's not working, and they're pumping the brakes on any potential push that they had planned for this guy. And I think it has a lot more to do with Elias Sampson and his inability to get over with his shitty gimmick than it does to have to do with Johnny Gargano.
And I don't think it's a shitty gimmick.
Oh, dude, it's awful.
Finn Balor makes a rare non-main event appearance.
This was very weird.
In match number 2. In match number 2, a tune-up for Samoa Joe as he takes on a debuting Rich Swann.
Rich Swann's been on NXT for a bit.
Has he?
Yeah, he's been on quite a few times. But didn't you found it odd? I'm not the only one that found it odd, right? I thought it was really odd to have Balor working like second match on the card against, no offense to Swan, but a very low level talent on the NXT roster at the moment.
I don't know. A tune-up match. I think it made sense to me. Just a tune-up match for Joe. I swear I've never seen Swan. Was it before they started airing on the network?
No, he's been.
What the hell?
Yeah, he's been. I'm almost positive he's been on a few times this year.
Is this the first time he's kind of done the dancing gimmick?
This is the first time he's had an entrance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even when he got in the ring, he did a lot of dancing. But he did a lot more in dancing in the ring. I thought he looked great against Finn Balor. I thought it was
a really good match.
Yeah, it was a good match, and he's got a future. I think he's got a lot of charisma, and obviously the man can dance. So obviously, coup de grace, Bloody Sunday, ends it for Finn Balor as he is getting ready for Joe. Alex Reyes interviews Emma about her match against Asuka in the main event of NXT this week and how it will be different. Emma says she's been training, they've been putting their heads together. Dana has been working, helping her with her strength ever since she announced, I think this might be the first time she's publicly put on TV that she's had an injury ever since she's faced Asuka. But they all say they're confident that Emma will do the job tonight. Well, you're right. She's going to do the job.
Welp.
Just so there you go. Alexa Bliss comes out, and before that, actually, we had a video package. Shinsuke Nakamura they recapped his appearance on NXT last week, talking to Sami Zayn through the Tron. Also showed him signing his contract, talking with Matt Bloom in the Performance Center. All that cool jazz. A lot of the Performance Center guys shaking hands with him, getting to meet him. Very cool moment, and it's a big deal. I'm glad that WWE's making a big deal out of this, because this is a huge deal. That holy shit chant in Full Sail wasn't for nothing. This is a very huge deal. Alexa Bliss. I say Alexa Bliss because I learned there's a mute button on my Amazon Echo. Charles, if you're listening, it's one of the top 2 buttons.
It's one of those damn buttons, pal.
There's only 2 buttons on the top. I don't know what the other one's for, but I think it might be to pair the Echo with because it's Bluetooth and all that shit. Alexa Bliss, the finest ass in NXT, is my nickname for her. She takes on Sarah Dobson. I believe this is her second or third time, and I like the little punk look of Sarah Dobson in the ring. Both did pretty well as well. Obviously, Alexa Bliss, more established, gets over. But currently, Alexa Bliss not really in any kind of feuds right now, so just kind of showing her off with her boys beside her there, which they did play a role in the heel Alexa Bliss getting over. Alex Reyes tries to interview Samoa Joe. He did get a question out, but Joe walked away. I love how Joe does interviews. Oh,
Joe lets his actions speak louder than words.
Exactly. Bull Dempsey, he's still with the company on
Kinda.
TV. Yeah. He came to his entrance, and then Samoa Joe attacks him and puts in the Coquina Clutch. Bull was supposed to take on fellow jobber Danny Burch. Danny Burch was already in the ring. Joe chokes him out as well. Then, Joe does an interview with the cameraman. He tells the cameraman that Balor will not survive. He's coming after Finn and taking his championship, which we all probably agree is going to happen. I don't know, because the record, maybe, I don't know. Did they have him break the record, Matt?
As I joked on Twitter earlier this evening, and honestly, as much as it's a joke, I actually stand by it. I think that there's a hidden stipulation to the Samoa Joe Finn Balor title match in Dallas next week, and it's loser goes to Raw. So I think whoever loses that match in Dallas is being fast tracked to the main roster.
And I said loser shows up at Jerry World on Sunday.
I don't think they're coming straight to WrestleMania, but I definitely think that they'll show up on Raw Monday.
There could be there could be a Balor, there could be a Carl Anderson, there could be a Doc Gallows somewhere.
If I'm Shane McMahon, I'd love to have Samoa Joe check out The Undertaker.
Could
you imagine, dude? If you imagine they plant the seeds for Undertaker and Samoa Joe at SummerSlam, be ridiculous.
Could you imagine a Bullet Club invasion on a match at WrestleMania though? A lot of people think, not a lot of people. I saw a few people. I'm sorry. Let me not
don't oversell it, JB.
Let me not hyperbole like Michael Cole does. But I saw quite a few people think Finn might come to the roster as a heel with the Bullet Club.
See, I think if he retains in Dallas, I think it'll be because he's turning heel. I think if he retains the title, he will do so with help from Gallows and Anderson, and they will be a heel faction in NXT going forward. But Samoa Joe will be heading to the main roster, so for him it really doesn't matter.
Of course, they've been ping-ponging rumors back and forth of where Gallows and Anderson are going to debut, whether it's main roster or NXT. So that does remain to be seen. A lot of question marks, a lot of exciting stuff.
What would you do if you're in charge of creative in NXT right now, and you know whoever loses that match is going to the main roster? Who do you put over in Dallas next week?
I put Joe over in Dallas and have the next program for the next takeover be Samoa Joe, and I would say Apollo Crews, but now, with what happened tonight on NXT, that may not happen.
I think Crews is going to have like a squash match against Elias Jobber Pants in Dallas, and I think Crews is going to beat him in like 2 minutes.
Besides Crews,
I think that's it. Austin Aries.
I was going to say, besides Crews, who's the top babyface?
You have Austin Aries beat Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
And wouldn't he instantly be a credible number one contender to Samoa Joe's championship?
He's been a champion everywhere he's gone.
Exactly. And I don't think anybody would complain about Samoa Joe versus Austin Aries.
I could have Joe winning and Balor Club debuting and taking out Shane McMahon.
Well, I mean, if they wanted to, they could even have the Balor Club form after the match and turn Joe face.
Mm-hmm.
They could beat down Joe after the match, and and they could leave Joe a face as the Balor Club leaves to the main roster to be heels. I mean, there's so many different ways.
Or you don't even have. Or you don't even have the Balor Club at TakeOver. They don't show up till WrestleMania, but they've got Finn Balor with them, because a lot of the casual WWE crowd is not going to know who Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson are.
I think a lot of people are going to know who Gallows is.
Well, it's been a while, and Straight Edge Society. Yeah, I think Straight Edge Society is a far distant memory.
Biscuits and gravy.
Because
JB, a man.
But I mean, with what Punk did after Straight Edge Society, I think makes Straight Edge Society a lot more pushed back into the background. So I think less people are going to know who Doc Gallows is. So to put them two in a Shield-like situation with Finn Balor, where they either are a authority bot or they interfere somewhere else. The ladder match even,
No.
But it's you can put them anywhere almost, But I think
to me, the only logical place to have them interfere at WrestleMania would be at Hell in a Cell. I really can't see them interfering in anything else.
But they also could be Shane's hired guns too. They don't have to be a heel.
That's what I meant.
They don't have to be a heel. They don't have to be authority, even though it might be kind of cool. But
they can be whatever they want to be.
I don't like the fact of turning Finn Balor heel. At least not yet.
I like the fact that
if it's in
unlike
NXT,
the WWE roster, there's exciting things to discuss as far as NXT goes right now.
Yeah, if NXT, if he stays in NXT, yeah, turn Finn heel. I'd like to see it. Debuting on the main roster, no, because he's gonna get a huge pop. there's no way in hell you can have I would wait and fast turn Balor heel at SummerSlam to have them gang up on AJ Styles. There's Bullet Club written all over that. So there's a lot of ways you can go on that.
Will WWE talk about it?
Definitely not the TNA run. Great video package for American Alpha, showing how obviously their wrestling backgrounds, but the fact that as individuals they could never reach the pinnacle as an amateur wrestler. I thought that was just completely just well done in showing the fact that these guys did not make it to the mountaintop there, but now they're going to try to make it to the mountaintop at NXT. And Matt, you said, well, that's almost a foregone conclusion that they get the titles, huh?
Yeah, I would think so.
Damn good package, though. You agree?
Yeah, but I mean, almost anytime they do one of these awesome packages on somebody, it's because they're basically telling the audience here we're about to strap a rocket to these sons of bitches. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what this was.
Before the main event was announced that Apollo Crews faces Alex Riley next week on NXT, and then Bull Dempsey gets sacrificed to Samoa Joe. Main event time. Emma Asuka 2, definitely a lot more competitive than the first one. I thought it was a great match for Emma. I mean, we all know what Asuka can bring. And we all know what Emma can bring too, honestly. But in terms of being a heel, this is Emma's best work to date, I think. I thoroughly enjoyed the match. Am I being too nice on Emma, or am I right on, Matt?
What do you mean too nice?
Too nice? I said this is her best match to date as a heel.
I don't know if it's her best match today, but I thought it was really good.
As a heel. Since her reboot.
Dude, no, because I thought her match with Asuka in London was better. So I can't say that. It was a great match, but I can't say it was her best match as a heel to date. I can't say that. She's had a lot of great matches since she's been a heel.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought she was more competitive in this one. Maybe I have to go back and watch London, but I didn't think she was that competitive in that match. And one more thing that Matt's already shaking his head about. We saw a vignette that just had a catchy little dance song called No Way Jose. And did a little searching and found out that 2 months ago, the WWE filed a trademark for No Way Jose, which is believed to be for developmental talent Levis Valenzuela Jr., and he's been at the Performance Center since last May. Has a background in ballroom dancing, too, so maybe him and Fandango can get together, but Matt's not a fan of the No Way Jose, eh?
No, it's awful.
I don't know. I definitely, it's a catchy tune, so we'll see where they go with it. I'm sure they'll probably drag that out for about 6 weeks before we find out if it is Levis that is the man behind the mask, so to speak. And SmackDown this week, we start out with Roman Reigns and basically talking about what he did to Triple H in regards to the beatdown that he gave on Monday Night Raw with a chorus of boos. And I think they ditched the crowd. I think they ditched the crowd entrance there, Matt. Don't you think? You think that's well, obviously it's going to be kind of hard to come in through the crowd at Dallas. That'd take a little while, but
they've done it every year at WrestleMania already. So I mean, it's
true. Oh, yeah, I did do it at Levi, didn't they?
They did it every year. They did it 20. They did it at 29, 30, 31. So. But
they haven't done it the last few weeks, though. So.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it's out the window now. So I mean, so much for being a man of the people, right?
Turn him heel.
I think, honestly, if you're trying to keep him face, I think taking away that entrance was a bad idea. But whatever.
Yeah, it's unique.
And you were out there with the fans, to get that cheap pop. So, yeah, I think it was if you're trying to keep him face, I think taking away that entrance is a bad idea.
AJ Styles interviewed by Renee Young, and Kevin Owens showed up, and so nice little exchange between them two. Kevin told AJ, he goes, him and Sammy should get a WWE Network show where they hold each other and cry. I thought that was good.
So
Kevin Owens is a great asshole. But they did get around to the point where they are going to have a match on SmackDown. So pretty cool stuff there, especially Styles and Owens. I don't think that's ever been. Did that happen in Ring of Honor at all, or? Most time frames are really close together.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I can't say that with 100% certainty either.
Dolph Ziggler and The Miz got a lot more than 1 minute, and it was actually a pretty decent match as far as SmackDown matches go. Dolph Ziggler gets the win over the Miz there, and then we learn that Kofi Kingston's going to take on King Barrett, and so that'll be later on in the show. They show a clip of Kalisto. Did he do a sit down with Michael Cole the past week?
Yeah, the Wednesday interviews that Cole does for WWE.com.
He officially accepted Ryback's challenge on that interview, so that match is official at WrestleMania, and we are not excited for that. My favorite part of SmackDown is Dean Ambrose's Northeast tour of bars. That they recap the cool moment with Mick Foley, and they're in his hometown of Cincinnati here for SmackDown, and so he was at a local bar talking about how he's learned so many valuable lessons in the fights that he's had in Cincinnati. So I thought that was pretty cool. Kind of adds to Ambrose with the feud with Lesnar when you obviously don't have Lesnar there, so I think that was pretty cool. Bubba Ray Dudley took on Goldust. That took a whole 3 minutes, and then they did a beatdown on Goldust. R-Truth tried to make the save. That didn't really work, and then the Usos ran out the Dudleys after that. Again, I am not caring. I can't care about the Usos and the Dudleys, Matt. But yet League of Nations and New Day, I like. You know, it seems like it should be the other way around almost. You know,
but it's not.
It's not. I think it all boils down to WWE doesn't give a shit, so why don't we? You know, we're just gonna give these guys 3-minute segments every week and call it a feud. The face-to-face promo with Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky. What did you think about that on SmackDown, Matt?
I thought it was fine. It's fine to touch on the NXT and the 4 horsewomen thing. You know, I don't believe a word that Charlotte said, which kind of hurts her character. I have trouble buying Charlotte as a heel.
Really? I like her a little better.
I mean, I don't mind her as a heel, but I don't. How do I explain? I don't believe what she's saying.
To me,
if that makes sense, I don't feel the conviction in her words, and she seems more like she's, as a heel, she's more like she's trying to play a character of her father instead of, you know, saying what she means. And I don't buy her heel character. I mean, I love Charlotte. I'm watching her in the ring. I think she's great, but as a heel character, I just don't buy into the character is all.
I think she's, at least the main roster version of Charlotte as a face is just so damn bland, and I like this heel run of hers right now. I actually am a little more thinking it's more believable than you maybe, but I just thought it was just so vanilla and bland as a babyface. It clearly didn't work because that's why they obviously turned her. But New Day, they make the entrance, and they got some bags in their hands, and basically represented each bag of trash represented the League of Nations because they're hot garbage, and that was pretty cool. good to see Kofi Kingston back in the ring after maybe getting dinged up, maybe head, shoulder, neck, some kind of thing there from the WWE special. But good to see him back in the ring and okay. And he took on Wade Barrett. Pretty short match, so it's kind of hard to get invested in it. And of course, Wade Barrett is the resident jobber in the League of Nations. Is he the jobber of defense or the secretary of job? In the League of Nations, I don't know what his official title is quite yet. But yeah, and they show the Ambrose in the bar again, Madonna's bar in Cincinnati. If I'm ever in Cincinnati, I'll have to go there and say I'm at the bar that Dean Ambrose was at.
Well, there you go.
Social Outcasts were sitting on the apron as we came back from commercial, talking about how they're going to win the Battle Royal, Andre the Giant Battle Royal together, and a lot of little chicanery. And Adam Rose is sick of Axel's axe chop thing. I think it's kind of funny. You like it, Matt?
I'm indifferent on it.
It's like a tee! Something like that. I can't remember how it goes.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Dean Ambrose comes
why
in.
I'm kind of indifferent on it. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Just a random thing, I think.
Yeah.
Dean Ambrose comes in with a kendo stick, so he's ready to party, and so he takes out the Social Outcasts, and there you go. Ambrose then does a promo, says he says that we're in the Natty, and he mentioned that a rumor that Lesnar's going to be on SmackDown next week, and so at least SmackDown is going to be interesting to watch going into this week as we head into WrestleMania. I believe the week after, did they always just do kind of a recap thing on SmackDown, or do they actually do a show the week of WrestleMania?
SmackDown will have a mix of live cut-ins from Access Thursday night, as well as pre-taped matches that they will tape prior to Raw on Monday night in Brooklyn. So what they do always the Monday before WrestleMania is the show starts a bit early in the tapings, and they tape about an hour, a little bit over hour's worth of matches for SmackDown. In the same arena they tape Raw in, and then they tape Raw afterward, and then Raw goes on live. So
okay,
that's how they do it.
Main event of the evening: AJ Styles, Kevin Owens. A good match for the time given. We'll talk about another match between them on Raw here sooner, or later on here. But Kevin Owens gets the win thanks to Jericho's distraction, and so this is just basically an appetizer for what we got on Monday Night Raw, and we'll get into that here in just a minute. But a pretty decent SmackDown there for you. We're in Philly for the Raw right here. Second to last Raw before WrestleMania, and funny that we're in Philly because that's where we got the highs and lows of Roman Reigns in this journey, huh, Matt? Stephanie McMahon does a promo to start the show, big surprise, and then Roman Reigns interrupts, comes down the ramp, and like I said, we're axing the crowd entrance apparently, and Philly was booing him pretty hard, weren't they?
Just a little bit.
But Roman Reigns did a good promo, I thought. He was the more badass Reigns than the joking Reigns. So I thought it was a pretty good promo. And Steph went to slap Roman, but he blocked it and said, "Now I'm the authority," which immediately makes me think heel turn.
It was short, sweet, and to the point, which is what it needed to be.
That's what Roman Reigns. Everything with him, and that's what it needs to be. We then. Oh boy, we're treated to Kevin Owens and AJ Styles 20-minute match on Raw, and goddamn was it good. That was kind of wondered why they're going back to it. Then I kind of remembered, oh yeah, SmackDown was kind of a short one, and so this could have probably could have been the Mania match if these two went head to head, but instead it's on Raw, and it was pretty damn good. Again, Jericho interferes right when Styles went for the calf cutter. Jericho got on the apron. Styles went after him, and then Owens rolls him up for the win. So there you go. But again, a pretty damn good match. Post-match, Owens celebrates. Says this is the Kevin Owens show. That's a show I'd like to watch on the WWE Network. Him on Twitter, that's what the Kevin Owens show would be. That'd be just entertaining. Watching him block all the jobbers. He says, talks about how the biggest event in WWE history is taking place in 13 days, and everybody wants to know who he's going to face at KO Mania. Cue Dolph Ziggler. He comes to the ring. He name drops Botchamania, so I'm sure they're excited about that. And so he said he wants to shot the Intercontinental title, followed by The Miz. Miz comes out and says he's main evented WrestleMania, playing that same old card again. And Ziggler then makes fun of Miz, saying that he just had beat him on SmackDown. And then Miz says, well, I beat you too. And then Sami Zayn comes out next. And nice little Olay chant for Sami Zayn. And he said, well, I'm the one that definitely needs to get my hands on Kevin Owens. And Miz called him a skinny Seth Rogen, which is basically spot on. Owens said that none of them deserve a chance at his Intercontinental title, and he says he's going to talk to the Authority to set up a triple threat match to see who will face him at WrestleMania. So we'll wait for that later on in the show. My favorite moment of Raw, outside of the great match between Owens and AJ Styles, Ambrose, like I said, he's taking the bar tour of Northeast United States here, and he's in a bar. And none other than Terry Funk shows up. And the Funker has not been on WWE TV for quite some time. But, hey, you egg-sucking dog. And told Ambrose he's a great fighter. And he says, it talks about something about he could be his brother and something about his sister. But I think the punchline was coming. But then Funker shows them the old chainsaw back in his Chainsaw Charlie days. And Ambrose then takes the chainsaw to the chair, or to the table, to scare all the patrons. And so, again, another legend in a kind of passing of the torch moment. Matt, you like that one with old Funker?
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it at all. I thought he was talking a little bit too low for some of the promo. I thought the mic didn't do a really good job picking up a lot of his earlier sayings in the promo. I thought it picked up it near the end. But I mean, I still thought it was solid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder if any other legend maybe on the go home. I don't know who else there could be, but we'll just have to see. Is Lesnar supposed to, he's got to be at Raw, right? Next week? He's on SmackDown this week, and he'd be on Raw, I'd assume.
It's all hands on deck in Brooklyn, dude. Everybody's going to be there.
Brooklyn. Kevin Owens talks to Stephanie McMahon in her office. He suggested they do a triple threat match later to see who faces him. She said the match is on, and there we go. Kevin Owens sucks up, so I say, tell Hunter I said hi. Then, very cool video package, since Shane McMahon nor The Undertaker are at Raw this week. They show a pretty sweet video package where Austin, Cena, McFoley, Edge give their thoughts, so I thought that was pretty good. The New Day didn't come out, or actually walking to the ring, and some random people twerking in the hallway. What the hell was that, Matt? I
have no idea.
New Day come out to the ring, and they had more trash for the League of Nations, and then they mocked Del Rio for being stuck in the League of Nations because he used to come out with cool cars and his own ring announcer. They mocked Barrett for being a king without a kingdom, and then poor Sheamus, he got named with shame in his name, shame. And then they plugged their Bootio cereal, which I bet is flying off the shelves. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of Bootio shirts at WrestleMania, Matt. And so then that led to Big E and Rusev, and I thought this was a pretty damn good match between the two guys. Big E got the win with the big ending there. A lot of New Day going over here, Matt. You think a title change might be on the horizon at WrestleMania?
I don't even know if titles are on the line at WrestleMania.
Oh, they haven't made that official?
They have not been very clear at all if this match is even for the tag team titles or not. Like, I seriously don't know, because half the people you talk to say they are, and the other half say they aren't. So I legitimately have no clue if the tag titles are even on the line at WrestleMania. And even if they are, I don't see the New Day losing them. So yeah, I don't see the New Day losing at WrestleMania no matter what.
Wyatt's doing one of those promos in the Dark Smoky room that they live in, and unfortunately for Luke Harper, he's going to be in a Dark Smoky room for about 9 months probably. And then they did a Snickers commercial with Todd Chrisley, and then Chrisley ate the Snickers and turned into Natalia. Sure, okay. Why are you giving us commercials when you already have like 35 commercial breaks anyways? Thank you. Big Show comes out, talks about how he's honored to win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal last year. Talks about how he looked up to Andre. He's the greatest giant of all time. That can then cues the Social Outcasts. They come out, and I thought Axel's Voltron comment was kind of funny. And then they go to work on Big Show, and Big Show shoos him off for a little while, but then the numbers game caught up before Kane makes his return, clears the ring. And how about Show giving Kane a hug? Hug it out.
Like, what the fuck was that?
Hug it out.
Give you a hug. Yeah, Kane, everybody, he's the best. I'm like, who are you? I don't know, dude. It was really weird.
Maybe he went to Dr. Shelby early on in the day.
Yeah, something like
Then Show's celebrating on the turnbuckle, but then Kane grabs Big Show by the throat and tosses him down to remind you it's everybody for themselves unless you're the Social Outcasts. And so that'll be pretty cool. I don't know. You really think Braun Strowman wins that?
I got a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach that he does.
Chris Jericho against Fandango. Just to remind you, Fandango's still on the roster. And I loved how Jericho said that, hey, he didn't even win! He did, Jericho. He went over you somehow. And then AJ Styles showed up chanting Y2 Jackass, but unlike Jericho's interference, it did not cost Jericho the match. Jericho hits a code breaker, 3 minutes. Thanks for coming, Fandango. And then Styles ran to the ring to go after Jericho. And Styles talked about how Jericho's the best in the world at running from Styles. And so there you go. This match is on at WrestleMania. Looks like it's going to be a singles match between the two of them, which is fine because I kind of liked how these guys have progressed from being a tag team and then the turn. So I think this has been good enough for me to accept one more match between them and put it at WrestleMania. So another video package for Shane McMahon Undertaker match with some more comments, some pretty cool stuff there by those guys again. And Kevin Owens is in the ring. He says it's time. He tells Lillian Garcia to get out of here. And I think I put on Twitter, Matt, I go, oh, can't we just have Kevin Owens be the permanent ring announcer for WWE?
I don't know about all that, but I mean, he was funny for what he did.
It was. And he introduced the guys for the triple threat match, but wait a minute. That ain't the three guys we're expecting. It's Stardust, Sin Cara, and woo, Zack Ryder.
That was the best part of Raw, when I knew Zack Ryder was getting a match at WrestleMania.
The match only went about 3-4 minutes before no contest. And so, obviously, this is still an unclear situation about the Intercontinental title, but thankfully, it got rectified real quick because Kevin Owens interrupts Stephanie, but she's on the phone, and so she's not happy that Owens interrupted her. And she said, well, you know what? You've wanted to climb the ladder of success. You're going to have to do it against those three guys, plus Ziggler, Miz, and Zayn in a 7-man ladder match at WrestleMania. So, and then somebody jokingly put an at-reply to Dolph Ziggler saying, looks like you get to finally face Zack Ryder at WrestleMania. I can't remember what Ziggler said, but it was kind of funny. So hey, WrestleMania moment for Zack Ryder. We're gonna get 80,000 plus doing the woo 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 for the broski boot, Matt.
And I couldn't be happier for him. He absolutely deserves this.
He's going to have a big pop when he comes to the ring, and that woo 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 is going to be huge. So I'm excited for that. That was great. That was the feel good moment of the evening. That the fact that Zack Ryder gets to.
I'm proud of him. I've met him in person a few times. As recently as WrestleMania last year, I met him again at the hotel in the WWE hotel in San Jose after the Hall of Fame. He was nice enough to take a picture with me when others said no. I'll leave them nameless here because I'm not going to bury anybody. But Zach's always been appreciative of his fans, and the dude's worked really hard, and he's I've always been a fan of his, and just the fact that he's finally getting a real WrestleMania moment, I think it's awesome, and it goes to show that all of his hard work and him not giving up all these years after WWE buried him underground is finally paying off, and I think it's awesome. I can't wait to see what he does. I don't expect him to win. Like, I'm not delusional, but I'm super proud of him for getting this moment, and if he has a great showing, that could really be a good thing for him in the future. Really good things could come from a great showing in this match.
Matt, you say you're not delusional, but look at this fact. Look at this fact. Miz and Ziggler have been feuding, and they could cancel each other out. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are in a heated feud that goes back a ways. They could cancel each other out. Stardust and Sin Cara aren't going to win. They'll probably tease, hey, Sin Cara and Kalisto, they're tag team with 2 individual titles. They're not going to win. There's a teeny chance that the canceling out may give Zack Ryder the title. Probably not, but
I don't even want to fill myself with any type of false hope that Zack Ryder can leave WrestleMania as Intercontinental Champion. I don't want to do it.
I think at the worst, those canceling outs are going to happen, and he's going to have his hands on that belt and just miss out on it. But you see how this could pair off: Sin Cara, Stardust, Miz, Ziggler, Zayn, and Owens. You could see how that could maybe open the door for Ryder. But regardless,
as I said, I don't want to get my hopes up. I really don't, because I don't want to be disappointed. I want to leave that match being happy with the performance that he had, and happy for him that he finally got a chance to shine in a moment like this. And I don't want my feeling after this match to be, damn it, I wish he would have won the championship. So yeah. I'm going to have the absolute lowest of expectations in regards to him winning the match. And if he does win, honestly, I don't think anything that night for me could be bigger than getting to watch him win the Intercontinental Championship. I was in Baltimore in the arena when he beat Dolph Ziggler and won the United States Championship. To be able to say that I was in the arena when Zack Ryder won both the United States and Intercontinental Championships would be really freaking cool.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just thought about that instantly when that match got set up. Is that is a door that could open for Ryder.
If you watch Kevin Owens sit down interview with Michael Cole on WWE.com this week, the main person that they talk about is Zack Ryder.
No shit.
Yeah.
What do they say? What do they say about him?
Basically, Kevin Owens just burying him in his career. But I mean, he's the main person that they talk about, and I think there might be a reason for that.
Yeah, and when I met Matt in 2011, I got to meet Zack Ryder as well for the WWE 12 video game, and Zack he hung out with us for a while and took on one of the guys in a wrestling match on the video game. So he spent a lot of time and hung out with us, and was really a cool guy. And that's hard to believe that was about 4.5 coming up on 5 years ago.
Long time, man.
Yeah, so I that just instantly popped in my head, because you could pair off 2 guys times 3 in that match.
Yeah.
And so I don't expect it to happen, but I got that little glimmer of hope that this could cancel each other out for that. And then hey, it leads to a Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn feud for no title. That's still fine with me. So obviously KO would get another shot at it, but that it's interesting that all of a sudden these 3 guys are added into it with no fanfare, but I think that it could also just be, well, add bodies for the match too. So, but all 3 guys are pretty decent workers in their own right, especially Stardust and Zack Ryder. So
this could be the last time we ever see Stardust, for all we know.
Yep, after seeing that tweet, very interesting. So Stephanie's getting ready to get the hell out of Dodge, and Triple H picks her up. And the little garage door lifts up, and oh look, there's Roman Reigns standing there. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was a cool visual. That door slowly rises, and there's Roman Reigns standing there looking all pissed off. Did you like that little segment with Roman and Trips?
I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. I thought it was fine for what it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought just the visual was cool, and then obviously they brawl, and then Jesus Christ, that SUV blazed the hell out of there. Charlotte takes on Natalya. A decent match for the time given, only about 6 minutes, but still, Natalya and Charlotte have great chemistry in the ring together. So, and they had Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks on commentary, and so that was pretty cool. Hopefully, post WrestleMania, Natalya can get a push, because God damn it, she deserves it. Bubba Ray took on R-Truth. That lasted 2 minutes, and then Goldust tried to save R-Truth, and then the Usos showed up. Did I just say this like about 5 minutes ago, Matt? God, I do not. They teased the double splash through a table. I'm sure that's probably how the match is gonna end. Or that'll be the post match. Usos going over probably. I'm gonna guess that's how that's gonna happen, since they teased it on Raw. Vince enters the arena for his special Hell in a Cell announcement. We're like, oh, this could be cool. If he loses, he's gonna have to retire. Oh, wow, that's it. That's it, Matt. That's all we get.
Pretty much.
No special referee, which I thought Foley in this case would have been cool.
It was honestly one of the most underwhelming announcements I can think of in WWE in recent history. It was almost like a Dixie Carter announcement.
You went there.
That was going to change the industry as we know it.
You pulled the Dixie out.
Dude, to me, it was that bad. Like, I was just like, wow, really? That's what you give us?
I wasn't.
There were so many loopholes that I could poke through that storyline, and I was just, disgusted by the time it was done.
If Shane wins, Undertaker's fired. Well, Shane can hire him back,
or just say he was never fired to begin with. I'm in charge, so sorry, Dad, you can't do that. And the Undertaker just was doing what you made him do. I'm not firing him. It's just, it was a terribly made stipulation. It sucked ass.
Yeah, you're right on the fact that there was loopholes out the ass on that.
Yeah, it was awful. Like, I rather would have had a special guest referee. Like, even if it was Vince, then that would have been eye-rollingly, numbingly bad. And I probably would have groaned at that too. But that still would have been better than what they came up with.
I tweeted at you saying, I'm afraid that's the announcement. And then, you replied back with groan.
And it would have been a groan-worthy moment, but it wouldn't have been as bad as what they gave us.
What rhymes with groan? Strowman. Not really. But
what do I do every time Strowman's on TV?
I tweeted Matt, I go, Strowman's looking okay here in the ring. I'm saying I'm not saying push him to the world title by any means, but I'm saying I can tolerate him in a match every once in a while. And then 2 seconds after I tweeted that to Matt, this is boring. I'm like, oops, I guess I screwed the pooch there. Dean disqualifies himself by bringing out Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
And so that's how we end the show.
Buddy Mr. Chair right there.
Mr. Chair. God save us for Monday Night Raw next week, for fuck's sake. This week in pro wrestling, happy birthday to Sting. He was born in this week in 1959. Also, former ROH champion and also former Lucha Underground champion. Homicide was born. Or is it Homicide's Prince Puma, right? No, that's Ricochet.
Yeah.
God damn it, I get these two.
What the hell?
What the hell, Bobby? Damn it, Bobby.
You jobber.
I got my one named wrestlers mixed up. Homicide, he was LAX, right?
Yes.
he was Ring of Honor champion. I didn't realize that.
Breaking news.
Yes, sir.
Shawn Michaels is taking Daniel Bryan's Axis spot Sunday morning.
Well, god damn it, you're a fucking Nostradamus.
I told you they needed to put somebody big in that spot, and I think that's a pretty good replacement from WWE last minute having to make something happen. I'm okay with that. I'm still sure a lot of Daniel Bryan fans are going to be pissy, but I mean Shawn Michaels is a hell of a good replacement.
Very cool of Shawn to do that too last minute.
Yep.
This week, hey, segue out the ass here, Matt. This week in 1994, WrestleMania 10 was held. And what do we remember about WrestleMania 10?
There's a lot of things I remember about WrestleMania 10.
But the one that's most talked about, the ladder match between Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels to become the undisputed Intercontinental Champion, and that was a great moment. Some sad news this week in 1995. Big John Studd passed away from Hodgkin's disease. He was trained by Killer Kowalski and went on to be a big star in WWF when they expanded in the 80s. He had feuded with Hogan and Andre the Giant and was managed by the great Bobby Heenan. This week in 2009, Ring of Honor debuted on HDNet, kicking off a two-year run with the cable network. And also in 2009 for Ring of Honor, they held their 7th anniversary show. This was at the Manhattan Center in New York City, where the main event was the champion Nigel McGuinness against Kenta, who is, of course, Hideo Itami. Another sad passing in 2011 this week, one of the great all-time managers, Sir Oliver Humperdinck, passed away from cancer. He had managed a lot of great wrestlers throughout the ages with likes of superstar Billy Graham, Bam Bam Bigelow, Greg the Hammer Valentine, and Bob Orton. Obviously you remember Sir Oliver. What were your kind of most memorable moments in his managerial career, Matt?
I don't remember much of him at all, to be perfectly honest now.
Is a hair before your time then?
Yeah. I
remember him with Bam Bam, but obviously the others were early 80s or even earlier than that. This week in 1972, Chris Candido was born. And in 1997, the Slammy Awards were held just before WrestleMania 13. And some of the interesting award winners, the new sensation to the Squared Circle. And this award was presented by Ahmed Johnson. He wasn't a new sensation for too much longer. But the winner of the new sensation award was Rocky Maivia, beating out Steve Austin, Flash Funk, Mankind, and Mark Marrow. Two of those things are not like the other. Match of the year was won by Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 12. Best hair belonged to Hunter Hearst Helmsley. One of the nominees for Best Hair, Steve Austin. Mankind was nominated for Best Hair. That's interesting. He was known for more pulling his hair out. Best Interest Music was won by The Undertaker. Best Finisher was Shawn Michaels' Sweet Chin Music. It even beat out the Stunner. In 1998, I bet the Stunner would have won. I don't know if they held the Slammies at 98 or not, but... Lifetime Achievement Award went to Arnold Scotland, and the Miss Slammy Award went to Sable. This week in 2000, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, and Spanky Brian Kendrick defeated the Board of Education That's quite the tag team name. They won the Texas Wrestling Alliance tag team titles in San Antonio. This week in 1996, Tomko was born. He's best known for being Christian's cohort when Christian was a heel. This week in 1997, WrestleMania 13 took place. The main event was Undertaker defeating Psycho Sid for the championship, but may best be known for the amazing Bret Hart-Steve Austin submission match. And this week in 2001, it was made official. WWE purchased WCW from Ted Turner. And then a year ago, this week in pro wrestling, one of the dumbest go-home WrestleMania segments, Matt, where we had a tug-of-war with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. At least it brought some good memes out of it, like the teddy bear put in place of the title.
Oh man!
Edge and Christian, Matt. Theme is sports entertainment mania, or WrestleMania, as we call it. Did you like the show this week? I thought it was pretty damn funny.
Yeah, dude. I've enjoyed every episode since the first. So, as I said, I wasn't super on the first. Everything else has been great.
The opening segment, the staff apparently has to do a big to-do about what Edge and Christian have for breakfast, and poor Christian, he gets jobbed on this show so much, the sparklers burn out before his entrance. Matt, how would you like to have Fink announce when you got to go drop a Kevin Dunn? As Fink was announcing Edge and Christian's what they want for breakfast. Funaki dressed like a hot dog to introduce us to the show, and in the background was the hot dog eating contest. Whoever comes up with those is on some nice drugs. We took a look at some of the past WrestleMania moments. Edge asking why he didn't get in the Undertaker streak. Well, because you're not Brock Lesnar. And then they check in with the shocked face guy from the Undertaker streak being broken, just to see if he's okay. And apparently, it looks like his face hasn't changed since WrestleMania 30, Matt.
I thought that was funny.
He falls off his chair, and they think he died, I guess. And then Christian sings some Hanson, waiting for the kid to come back, but he didn't. Poor kid. I thought it was pretty cool to put him on the show, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big WWE fan, so it was pretty cool for them to reach out to him and do that.
Edge says there is one WrestleMania moment that he wished he could take back, and that was spearing Foley through a table on fire, which was one of the coolest things I've seen. Edge says to Mick, if he's watching, he wants to give him a big old bear hug. Oh, he's not only watching, he's there. And he gives a cheap pop for the show, and Christian goes, we don't have an audience. That doesn't stop Foley from giving a cheap pop, damn it. And we got a tender moment, though, between Edge and Mick, and I honestly shedded a tear, but then Mick says, I don't accept your apology. And then they talk about world titles, and Christian gets jobbed again, Matt. But it's two more than Al Snow. Mick says forgiveness is earned, and Edge is scared. He does not know what that means, so we'll find that out a little later in the show. Chump Stain challenge time. The challenge is tied at 1 apiece, and this challenge was a superstar appears with their face and voice disguised, talking about their least memorable WrestleMania moment. Kofi Kingston, I thought that was a little too obvious in his New Day shirt on who that was.
Yeah, that was the easiest one.
Then after that, it did get a little tougher. Poor Zack Ryder, he didn't get Eve to go to Makeout City with him.
Congratulations to Eve, who will be on a future episode of Supergirl in the next couple of weeks. It's a pretty big landing for a former WWE talent. Hopefully she does well.
That's network television.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought Goldust sounded like the Shockmaster.
They call me the Shockmaster.
That's pretty damn good.
Thank you.
The challenge ends in a tie, so we stay at 1-1. As they each got 2 right. Is it me, or does the remote get more and more ridiculous every week? Like, it continues to have things added onto it. Like, it got painted one week. Now it's got, like, extra long antennas. Pretty soon it's going to, like, walk on its own or something, Matt.
Wow.
Did you notice in that? The remote changes?
I did not notice. No.
What'd you think of the weather report? Ziggler getting caught in a landslide in Stamford, Connecticut.
Did you see the one did you see the edited version?
No.
There was an edited version online that mentioned Damian Sandow and Taz. And it was edited out before. Like WWE put it on YouTube, like the morning of before the show, and then they deleted it, and then they put up another version without it, and then that version never aired.
Oh.
But yeah, there was one about Damian Sandow getting buried, and then Edge commented something to the fact of he hadn't seen a burial that bad since the VKM burial of Taz in 2000. And since on the effect that he was still buried, that Taz was still buried under the snow somewhere in Red Hook. And I'm assuming they just didn't want that talked about on the Taz show, and they decided to take that part out. Because Taz wouldn't have shied away from speaking on such things.
No. This week's edited interview was Christian with the Big Show. This one got out of hand pretty quick, talking about knitted thongs and Big Show's Little Big Show. So,
the kid.
Again, great job on editing interviews. I think those are hilarious. The EC dubs I thought was not that funny, except for Paul Heyman saying "Como está? Como está?" What was the? Do you remember the segment that they showed with Vince and Steph looking into a baby carriage? What was that from? You remember?
I honestly don't. And it might not even have been a baby carriage. It might have been something else that they were looking into. I honestly don't remember. It might have been a baby carriage. I don't remember it.
Mick comes back and says it's time for Edge to pay him back for his pain and suffering, and by paying him back, it's karaoke. And as you probably saw in the previews, they do a take on "We Didn't Start the Fire" by Billy Joel. Pretty damn great. Was that Big Show's head bouncing on the words?
No, it was Bastion Booger.
Oh, it's Bastion Booger. Even better.
Yeah.
Our own lost in the mid-card bracket a suckitude winner, Bastion Booger. Maybe we can get him on the line to see if we can give us an acceptance speech.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Forgiveness has now been earned until Edge burned Mick scrotum again. Oops. And then we find out Vince is still frozen. Oops. Next week on the show,
I laughed at that part. I thought that was funny.
Next week on the show, Paul Heyman. Yes! Also, another wrestling fan that got famous on YouTube for getting mad at something. I think I've seen it before, but I can't remember. Bailey's going to join the show next week, and it looks like Brutus the Barber Beefcake is going to get interrogated. So I think next week's going to be good.
What's funny is, like, it's normally scheduled to air right after Raw, but after Raw, they have, what the hell do they have?
The Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, which so they might pay. That might not air anymore.
We didn't start the fire.
I'm gonna try to load up the network right now and see if I can look at the schedule and see if that's still scheduled for Monday night. Click the schedule here.
While you do that, we're gonna go to Ring of Honor this week, and it's our first television stop in Las Vegas post 14th anniversary. And the opening match, an interesting matchup. BJ Whitmer taking on Tomohiro Ishii for the Ring of Honor TV title. Before the match can get started, the very hot Veda Scott comes out and says basically the same thing that she had offered Jermaine Grisham, saying that it's her job to ensure that her client Cedric Alexander gets every opportunity he deserves.
I will say, as of this moment, the Daniel Bryan 24 special is still scheduled to air. But
check your local listings.
I would suggest to check that daily. Honestly, if you want to break your own news, I'd be checking the network schedule for this Monday every day for the next couple of days, because I would not be surprised to see that quietly removed off the schedule with everything that's going on right now.
That's interesting. But hopefully we get some answers before we get the questions. Veda's got a certified check for BJ on the condition that he surrenders his title match to Cedric Alexander. And BJ says, do you think I'm the type of man that could be bought off? He looks at the check.
Yup.
That would be absolutely correct.
He's such a jobber.
So it is Tomohiro Ishii against Cedric Alexander for the Ring of Honor World Television title. I think Cedric Alexander held his own up on this match. I thought he looked pretty damn good. Obviously, Ishii using his Pitbull mentality with the headbutts and all that fun stuff, and eventually got over after a brainbuster. But overall, I think Cedric looked pretty good there against Ishii. Are they making him drop his title ahead of Dallas, Matt? Or
they can't. He's not there to drop it.
There's no match they can have. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's in Japan. He's not in the States to drop the title. Oh, it's something I wanted to inform you of. I don't know if you were even aware of this. But the Ring of Honor show that you're going to is not a television taping.
Oh?
It is Super Card of Honor 10, Day 2.
Part 2. I saw something
in Dallas,
about
Texas.
That.
You want to hear your card?
Yeah.
I'll run it for you right now. As of right now, main event, no holds barred match, Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly.
Ooh!
In a 2 out of 3 falls match, Bobby Fish will face Roderick Strong.
Ooh!
In a 4-corner survival #1 contenders match, it is the Addiction versus the Briscoes versus the Motor City Machine Guns versus the Young Bucks.
Yes!
You will also see the All Night Express versus Reborn Matt Sydal and ACH.
All right.
Also appearing, Ring of Honor World Champion Jay Lethal with Taylor Hendricks, ROH Tag Team Champions War Machine, Silas Young and the Beer City Bruiser, Adam Page, Dalton Castle with the Boys, card subject to change.
All right.
So looks like it is no longer a television taping, but actually Day 2 of Super Card of Honor 10.
The time hasn't changed.
I am very inclined to want to join you on that show.
Hey, you've got a ticket.
I know.
Ready for you. You're coming.
I think I am.
You're coming.
Spoiler alert to everybody I'm going to WrestleMania with that is listening to the show right now.
Is the show still at 2 Central?
The show is still scheduled for 2 o'clock Central, yes.
So DVD only, or is this going to be broadcast live?
I'm honestly not sure. The poster for Super Card of Honor 10 in the corner, it says Friday, April 1st, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and then Saturday, April 2nd, 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. So maybe, no, that's the Central Time. I'm sorry, it's a C, not an E. It's a very weird looking C. But 7:30 p.m. Central Time, Saturday, April 2nd, 2 p.m. Central Time. So I would assume maybe it's available to buy streaming on ROH.com
or iPay-per-view.
iPay-per-view, something like. I'm actually looking at their iPay-per-view site right now to see.
Do you have Day One's card?
Yeah, I absolutely have Day One's card. What do you think I am, a jobber?
Run it down while we're talking.
I can absolutely run it down. I'm sure people want to know. So all right, here's Day One. It's this Friday night's card. So. It's obviously, I'm assuming it's going to be really hard to get tickets to, but if you want,
I think they're both sold out.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, if you want to scalp or StubHub or something, you could probably get to this show. Friday night show, main event: the Young Bucks versus the Motor City Machine Guns for the ROH World Championship. Jay Lethal versus Leo Rush, ACH versus Adam Cole. An 8-man tag team match: the Briscoes and War Machine against the All Night Express. Silas Young and the Beer City Bruiser, Roderick Strong versus Moose, Reborn Matt Sydal versus Kyle O'Reilly, stars signed to appear: The Addiction, Bobby Fish, Adam Page, Dalton Castle, Cheeseburger. Cards subject to change. And I ain't gonna lie to you, dude. I was gonna say I ain't gonna lie, but with the exception of Lethal versus Leo Rush, I think Day 2 has a better card.
It does.
So
and it was original. I swear it was originally a TV taping.
I honestly believe it was supposed to be a TV tape, and I think they decided to split up the card because they knew a lot of people were going to miss night 1 due to NXT.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
Yeah, that just happened.
Excellent.
I'm kind of excited.
Back to TV, Frankie, because back to TV. Let's try to come down from that. Back to TV, the Addiction come to the ring, and they say, "Oh, well, it may give you a warm, fuzzy feeling that the Machine Guns are back. It makes them sick to their stomachs that they were betrayed." And Kaz calls Sabin a silly, stupid little turd. That got a kind of a laugh out of the crowd. Ooh, yeah. So then the Machine Guns show up and kind of mock the Addiction. I guess they can't call them the Motor City Machine Guns officially.
On the website, they are listed as the Motor City Machine Guns. Okay. I read it directly off ROHWrestling.com. I know on TV they've been referring to them as the Machine Guns. Yeah. But on the website, they are being referred to as the Motor City Machine Guns. So take that for what you will.
Pretty cool to hear Sabin on the mic. You haven't really, when he was with the Addiction, Sabin wasn't really on the mic that much. So it's pretty cool to finally have him cut a promo, talking about how he's reunited with his best friend Alex Shelley, and I'm excited because I get to see the Machine Guns in person. I'll try not to.
That's a hell of a card, dude. I'm having a really hard clash of choosing to go to the other thing I was supposed to go to.
Yeah, you got to say, hey, look at this. I'm going to this. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, bye. Jay Briscoe, Mark Briscoe, the Briscoe brothers, they take on Reno Scum, which is kind of a regional kind of tag team. I kind of like Reno Scum. They look pretty good against the Briscoes. Kind of a similar build, kind of hard hitting kind of type of deal with, but they got a kind of a punk persona. And obviously the more established Briscoes go over with the Death Valley Driver and the Froggy Bow. But I thought Reno Scum was pretty decent. Matt, you think? Did you like those guys?
Yeah, it was good.
Main event time. Tanahashi, Michael Elgin against the Young Bucks, and holy fuck, was this great! I thought, I thought for sure, more bang for your bucks coming. Bucks are gonna go over. Bucks are signed. Maybe push them to the tag titles here very soon. The match was amazing. You got your normal. You got your normal chicanery from the Young Bucks, but on top of that, you got Tanahashi mocking the Young Bucks, which was freaking hilarious. And but like I said, the more bang for your buck was canceled out, and high fly flow was chanted by the crowd, and that's what Tanahashi and Elgin gave them to go over the Young Bucks. If Tanahashi can be free and clear, I would love to see him and Elgin get the tag titles, Matt. Like you said, who knows?
Yeah, I don't like the idea of putting championships on people that can't consistently be at your shows. I really am not a fan of it. I really didn't like the fact that some of the no sells of the super kicks near the end of the match kind of really annoyed me. Like from both Tanahashi and Elgin, and I feel like if you want to no-sell a super kick early in the match, okay, fine, you're healthy, you're good to go. But near the end of the match, when you're no-selling the Young Bucks main offense, it just kind of irked me a bit. I
guess I didn't quite catch that.
That really rubbed me the wrong way. And it's not that just Tanahashi did it, but Elgin did it too. They both had a spot near the end of the match where they both no-sold super kicks they were hit with. And I was just like, I do not like that at all.
Yeah, I missed that. TNA time. Yeah, we're talking about TNA for a second week in a row. How about that?
What?
Start out with Drew Galloway showing the finish where he cashes in his feast or fired briefcase. So they went reverse Money in the Bank, huh, Matt? There's never been a successful cash in until Drew Galloway.
Drew. Well, there's been several successful cash-ins, just not for the world title.
Yeah,
like the X Division and tag team titles have been successful countless times,
but not the world title.
Yeah.
So pretty cool, pretty good, kind of a celebration speech there from Drew before before Matt Hardy interrupts and Boner kills it all. So then Matt talks some shit and says he wants to get his rematch, or the entire Matt Hardy brand is going to obliterate him. And Drew's ready to throw down right now, but then Jeff Hardy's music hits, and he says that there's a lot of people for that title shot. Matt got beat last week, and he didn't. So if anybody deserves a first shot, it's him. Drew says, I will give you a title shot, Jeff. And that pissed off old brother Matt. And then Jeff gets cut off when Eric Young and Bryan come and attack him on the floor. They tease another pile driver through the table spot, but that was stopped by EC3. So a TNA finish starts the show for TNA, right, Matt? Beer Money has an open challenge tonight, and any of the past champions can answer the challenge. I thought it was funny when Storm suggested America's Most Wanted. Rudy goes, that means you'd have to wrestle for both teams. And Storm says, that'd be awesome.
He's drunk.
You blame him? He's in TNA. His best buddy's leaving him. I would be drunk too. Like Drew.
Drew.
If I was drunk and I ran into Drew at TNA, I'd be like, hey, Drew. Sorry, but I'm drunk. JB interviews Mike Bennett backstage on how he's going to kill two birds with a miracle. I don't know how that could happen. I don't even know if Jesus could even do that. But he's drawing for a gauntlet match that Dixie Carter had announced. And should I go off on the gauntlet match, Matt? It's not a fucking gauntlet match. It's a goddamn Royal Rumble. Anyway.
Don't you guys love it when JB is also angry at TNA and it's not just me? That's all I have to say.
A gauntlet match is two guys or two tag teams. One gets beat, the other guy comes in. Not them two still in the ring, and then somebody else comes in. I'm like, oh, okay, this is how they do it. Then I learn it's over the top rope, not pin. I'm like, oh, give me a reverse battle royal over that. No, I'm just kidding. Reverse battle royals. While unique, it was poorly executed back in the days that TNA tried that. So Mike Bennett draws his number for his entrance into the Royal Rumble for the main event at TNA this week. Beer Money comes out for their open challenge. Robbie E comes out, and that made Matt very excited. He says that he has someone he's tanned with, gone to the gym with, and held a tag team title twice with. That's my boy, Jesse Goddard. So the Bromans reunion against Beer Money. But thanks for coming there as the DWI is hit on Robbie E for the win for Beer Money. Decay is backstage, and they kind of talk about how they are dismantling the Wolves, and that Eddie's going to take on one of them later on. Eric Young and Bryan draw out their numbers for their gauntlet match, and Matt's excited again because I think I see Willow. I just want to see Willow. I want to see Willow. I want to see it. I know you don't. Eddie Edwards is taking on one of the members of Decay, and it's Crazy Steve. I like it when Mike Johnson says that, because Crazy Steve's got two Z's in his name. I thought Steve and Eddie was a pretty good match. I had no complaints about it. I don't know about you, Matt, but are you finally coming around on the Decay?
No, I honestly skip every segment they're on the television.
Well, you, sir, you're going to be skipping a lot of segments.
Yeah, I know. I skipped right over their promo and the entire match last night.
I like Decay.
I think they're awful, and I want them to go away.
You're wrong.
Well, that's fine. I just found out something very interesting. Remind me to talk to you more about ROH when we get off the show tonight.
All right, let's talk about ROH after we get off the show tonight.
You asshole.
Dixie Carter's chewing out Bobby Lashley for what he did to Kurt Angle on his finale. And she says none of the guys are ready for him and walks off. Gee, does that mean he's getting added to that gauntlet match, Matt?
Yep.
Gail Kim is supposed to face Maria for the Knockouts title. Maria comes out and says...
annoys us with her annoying voice.
Come on, Matt! I can't do it right now. I've been talking for too long. I could probably do a good imitation of Preacher Maria. But anyways, she brings out the Dollhouse and says that the Dollhouse are going to have to dismantle and fight each other for the number one contenders match to take her and the winner gets her tutelage and also the her spot to face Gail Kim. Stu from PW Insider thought it was a good match. I thought it was a sloppy mess, Matt.
I thought the match told a good story. I don't think it had anything to really do with the sloppiness of the match. I was trying to focus on the match, but Maria's commentary was so god-awful bad that I actually had trouble doing so. But I thought they were trying to tell a story about, how at first they were reluctant to do it, and Marty and Jade were cohesive enough that they were going to take out the third wheel in Rebel, and then they decided, we're gonna have to face each other if we want a shot at the championship. I thought they were telling a really good story. I liked the match, so
I didn't, and I wasn't that upset with Maria's commentary. We're completely flip flopped on that.
Yeah.
Jade wins with giving Marty the STO on top of Rebel. Does Marty and Rebel turn face, I'd assume? I figured Rebel was going to turn face, but
I have no idea what they're going to do. All I know is Rebel and Jade were bickering on Twitter all Tuesday night. I almost unfollowed both of them.
How Matt Hardy?
I don't even want to talk about Matt Hardy's Twitter.
Speaking of Matt Hardy, though, JB's backstage with him, Spud and Tyrus as they draw their numbers. Apparently, Spud drew a good number and Matt didn't, so Matt switched the numbers. But Spud's just a Matt Hardy's bitch to steal WWE there. So Spud doesn't mind. Then we get a terrible segment with Grado and what's his name? Drew Galloway comes out. Drew comes out and talks about how TNA is going to change with him as champion. He's going to be a fighting champion. There's been too much talk tonight, and so he's going to go off to the back and let the gauntlet get started. But before the gauntlet can get started, Bobby Lashley comes and stares down Drew and congratulates Drew on being the new champion. And then Lashley says basically that he's going to beat his ass. And the best part of that was he said, that little bitch Pope.
I just wish the Pope would get out of commentary forever.
Well, we might be having some foreshadowing there. But first it's announced that, hey, Lashley's in this match. He's going to be number one in the gauntlet match. I mean, the fucking Royal Rumble, it's not a goddamn gauntlet match, Dixie. Fucking Dixie. Fucking Jesus Christ. So EC3
you
and
love
Lashley.
Dixie Carter.
This is also the other thing that maybe was like, okay, I thought this was a true gauntlet match, and I'm like, wow, EC3's never been pinned, and you really expect Lashley to get pinned here right off the bat? Oh no, it's not a gauntlet match, it's a fucking over-the-top battle royal. Anyways. Spud entered it at 3. They both team up on EC3. And poor EC3 is Mike Bennett comes in at number 4, and it's basically a 3-on-1. Number 5 is Eric Young. And unlike Matt, I do like Eric Young as a heel. And the one part I like about him as a heel, he don't give a fuck about who's beating up on who. He at first teased like he was joining in on the EC3 beatdown party. But then he started beating down on Spud and everybody else. So the crazy man just wants to fight people. Tyrus comes in at 6, and looks really bad for EC3 as he's getting his ass whooped, but EC3 dumps Spud and then takes Tyrus out really quick before he even got going. Bram came in at number 7. Lashley spears everybody. It's a spear party, everybody. Lashley dumped Tyrus, not EC3. Then is jumped by Young and Bram. And how about that? Pope comes up from the broadcast table and dumps Lashley over the top rope, Matt. Maybe we get our wish and JB goes into the color commentary booth again.
Would be nice.
They're obviously doing something with Lashley and Pope. This wasn't done just to do it.
No, I agree. I hope it leads to something good.
And what the hell ever happened to Gabby? She hasn't been used. Remember when she was cock teasing Lashley for a while?
I would assume she's going to be revealed as the one behind his mood change. I don't know what they're waiting for, but she
hasn't been on TV for a while. So
they didn't take her on the UK tour. Like she was on all the tapings until the UK tour, and obviously they didn't take her on that. So, but
Matt Hardy at 8, Jeff Hardy at 9, and we come down to Matt versus Jeff, which is pretty cool. Always good to see the brothers fight. But in the end, your winner's Jeff Hardy. Oh man, I'm excited to see Jeff Hardy and Drew McIntyre. I'm sure you agree with me, Matt.
I think it'll be a great match, and I think it'll be a good ratings draw for TNA. Jeff Hardy in the main event is best for business right now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it'll be a very good. I think they'll punch a very good rating next week.
Oh yeah, it'll probably be their best since they moved to Pop. Let's close out the show with burning questions with TNA and the releases of Bobby Roode and Eric Young. Matt, in your opinion, is this a positive or a negative that two mainstays have left the company?
How can you look? Besides TNA's PR wanting to spin it as such, how could you in any way view this as a positive? It's an absolutely utter negative for TNA as a whole that these guys are leaving. And It's probably going to get even worse before it gets better at this rate. So if you're a TNA fan, hold on to your ass because your favorites might be going away very frequently throughout the rest of the calendar year.
We kind of touched on this earlier, but do you think James Storm's asked out of his contract to join Roode, or do you see Roode as more of a singles wrestler from here on out?
Well, obviously Roode, as I said earlier, Roode mentioned reforming Beer Money felt like a step backwards for his career. So I don't really think Roode is interested in going somewhere else to be a tag team with James Storm. So no, I do not see James Storm getting out of his deal. But I would not be surprised to see him return to NXT once his deal is up.
Will this elevate the Knockouts more, as they have kind of seemed to go the way of the Divas lately? With I
think the Divas have been going in a more positive direction, or the Knockouts have gone in a negative direction.
So do you think this elevates them a little more?
I would like to hope that the influx of talent that they had on their pay-per-view gets signed and they can make that division great again. But I mean, only time will tell on that. I'm not ready to say in any certain terms that I think the Knockouts division's on a positive upswing again.
Now, this is almost kind of a similar question to the first one I asked, where if it's a positive or a negative. But Mike Johnson from PW Insider says the company is no better or worse off with Young and Roode departing. You agree or disagree?
I disagree. I think they're much worse off without them.
Even though Roode has been backpedaling, and Eric Young, I don't know, but I mean Roode.
I think they're much worse off without Roode.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to say either way on Young, I would be inclined to agree. I think losing Roode is not a good thing at all.
Even though he's been stagnant for
I don't think there's been anything wrong with him.
Really?
He's been tag team champ. Before he was tag champ. Right before that, he was King of the Mountain champ. The only reason they took that title off of him because they were going to put the tag titles on him. Mm-hmm. I don't think he might have felt he was stagnant, but I don't think he was. I think he was one of the main eventers of that company. So
Now, the last question on Burning Questions prefaces with, if there is a long term, who do you see as the long-term leaders of the company now?
Well, I would assume they want Drew to be. But he's working with Evolve. He's tag champs with Johnny Gargano over there. So that's quite interesting. I would assume they want to lock him down. Obviously, they want to lock EC3 down. Jeff Hardy, obviously. I would say those are their top 3 priorities right now, as far as their company's future right now would be Jeff Hardy, EC3, and Drew Galloway.
So you don't think Jeff Hardy is going to be like Bobby Roode and be too expensive for the company?
No, because I think they need to have one person there.
Okay.
That moves the merch, and he's always been TNA's number 1 merchandise mover. I think if they're going to open up the wallets to keep anybody, it'll be Jeff Hardy.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for this edition of Lost in the Midcard. And once again, thank you to SpiderDuck.net for enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. Just search for Lost in the Midcard and you'll see us. And then hit that subscribe button. You'll know that every show, know when every show hits you, every Thursday and also Monday after the pay-per-view, probably with the exception of WrestleMania, because we're going to be kind of tied up there in Dallas. Also, we're subscribable on YouTube, and our links for YouTube and iTunes are on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Lost in the Midcard. Also follow us on the Twitter at LITMC Pod. Excuse me, LITMC Podcast. And before we wrap things up, Matt, we got one more. We got ourselves a one more go home show before WrestleMania. What are your final thoughts here going into that?
I don't know if they have enough in their tank to make me truly excited for WrestleMania. And because let's face it, they never do anything on SmackDown, especially the week of WrestleMania. So they've got 3 hours of television left, to truly get me excited about WrestleMania. And I don't know if they can do it. That's my challenge to all of them, because I don't know if they can do it.
Yeah, that'll remain to be seen. We had the same feeling going into WrestleMania last year, and obviously that was our first WrestleMania as a show, and it turned out the show itself was pretty good, and we were both had good remarks about it, and so remains to be seen. But at least it looks like we're going to get entertained with NXT. We're going to get entertained with Ring of Honor. We're going to get entertained with Raw the night after, hopefully. So we'll see where it goes from there. But for Matt Black, this is Jeremy Bennett. Thank you for tuning in to Lost in the Midcard. We will be back at you next Wednesday, special WrestleMania preview show. Have a good one.